Before we kick off this week's podcast, just a few people we got to thank. And we've actually already done the podcast. But as per fucking usual, we forgot to thank a couple of people during the podcast. So I'm having to do it now at the end. A big thanks to Leon, the head honcho at Denny Swansea, for inviting us down, letting us use his training room to do the podcast. To the staff there, Sean and Mark and the rest of the staff who looked after us. Me and Paddy ate like pigs. Not during the podcast, you'll be glad to know, so you don't have to hear the Paddy with buffalo wings stuck in his crispy beef. But big thanks to Owain Tudur-Jones, who really has gone out of his way to come and do the podcast with us. And we had a good time. Owain's a true gentleman. And this is episode 31 of the Ambition is Critical podcast with Owain Tudur-Jones.
Ambition is critical.
We just dig in, Owain. We don't fuck around.
So
you've got a special guest tonight. You can't let us in on it, can you?
Yeah, well, I've had him before. So I'm doing my podcast after this one. I've got the little man on again.
Is he? Yeah.
Brits. So
what a time to have him on.
What a time.
Well, funnily enough, I was looking at this week, the schedule. Swansea, obviously their troubles, and then Huddersfield playing last night, and I knew I was gonna meet you boys, and then I was gonna meet Brits, and the Brits podcast for me wouldn't go out till next week. So I'm thinking, obviously I want Swansea to be in with a chance on the weekend.
Yeah.
But if they're not relegated, if Huddersfield would have lost last night, I don't know what sort of chat I would have had with him.
Yeah,
exactly. So if anything, my podcast with Brits now, at least there's a bit of meat to the topic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. So how, with your podcast, like with us now, I record it, literally, normally because I'm in my house, I'm on my Wi-Fi, Paddy's leaving, whoever's with us is leaving the same time, and I upload it immediately, and it's done. It's out there. So, because yours is better produced than ours, right, as regards you got, your theme music and everything, there's a bit more to it, is what I'm getting at.
It's not off me, though. I've got a friend who does that for me. I should really make the effort to learn how to send it out there myself. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the theme music and stuff like that, all that is from me listening to American podcasts and stuff like that. Yeah. Thinking, I want a bit of that. It makes it sound good. It's something a little bit different. But I enjoy it. I like the podcast world. I really do. I think what you boys do is brilliant. It's what podcast is all about.
Yeah.
You can do a podcast now about tables or chairs if you want.
That is the next one we're looking at doing, the tables. When does it happen?
We're getting Mr. DFS.
Yeah. No, it's like I said, I'm postman, right, and I got 5 hours walking every single day, so you get a little bit bored with music and a bit monotonous. So to have a podcast, and fucking hell, the topics range from fucking films to fucking Universal Studios Florida. It's just crazy, and you're learning. It's 5 hours a day of stuff, like interviews,
You've just said it there, learning. Honestly, I'm not even going too far-fetched now. Podcasts have changed my life to a certain extent.
Really?
To a certain extent,
Yeah.
I'm not going to talk crap and stuff like that, but...
Don't it? We do everything. Don't worry about that.
That's what made us successful so far.
the amount of time I spend on the road, so whether it's one trip a week to Swansea, Cardiff, wherever... from North Wales, that's 8 hours. Sometimes it might be 2 trips, sometimes it's 3. And it adds up, doesn't it?
Unbelievable, yeah.
And if it's music, I could listen to music for half hour, you have a little sing song.
Yeah, exactly the same.
You get tired, you're going to fall asleep and have an accident or something.
Yeah, I agree.
Whereas podcast, it's like, if you find the right one, you got to find the right one that you find funny or informative, whatever it is. I've learned loads, honestly, even if I listen to comedy ones or... UFC is a big passion of mine.
Same as us, yeah.
So I listen to
company,
the Fighter and the Kid. I don't know if you listen to that.
Yeah, of course we do.
Joe Rogan.
Obviously.
Things like that.
Yeah.
You learn so much.
Yeah.
Well, it was Joe Rogan podcast I was listening to that finally gave me the kick up the arse to do it, because I'd in my mind been thinking about this for probably 3 years, before I actually got around to getting a bottle to doing it. So I was listening to, it was Joe Rogan, Joey Diaz and Tom Segura.
Yeah.
And they've all got podcasts, and obviously, but they're all mates, and they sitting around, and they were talking, and I never tell you this, on the podcast. So I'm sitting there, and it's been in my mind for a while to do, and it's still on my mind all the time. And because I'm a taxi driver, so I'm doing a lot of driving day in day out. So I listen to Joe Rogan, I listen to Chael Sonnen, and loads of different podcasts. So I'm listening to Joey Diaz saying about how he loves doing this podcast, and he said, for me, he said it's just it's some of the lines he said of, just do it for yourself, like. Just don't do it for anybody else. If you're doing it for other people, it'll never be any good, he said. Just do it for yourself, And he's not saying it to me, but at the time I was listening to it, and I was feeling, said,
but he is.
Fuck it, he is, yeah. And I was thinking, do you know, if only 10 people listen, then it doesn't matter. And only if I do one, then it's one, like, do you know what I mean? I got something to look back. Or at least I had a go, it didn't work out. At the time, when I rang Paddy, that first time to do it, Paddy was my guest on the podcast.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know how that would have gone now if Paddy we didn't become the team, like, do you know what I mean?
Terrible, I reckon.
Were you friends before?
Oh, yeah. Long-term friends,
like.
yeah. So that's why I asked him, because I knew that me and him could sit across the table and talk shit to each other for hours, and there was going to be no problem, and we'd have a laugh, and we did. So then I was like, Pad, you got to come back and, be my Joey Diaz then.
Yeah.
Because Joey Diaz always comes in with Joe Rogan times. That's what my thought process was.
Which is handy as well, because I smashes the Charlie and smokes blow as well. You know what I mean? So pretty much worked out perfect.
so he came. So on the build up to doing the second episode, it was like, Pad, you gonna do it? And he was like, yeah. So then I actually listened back to the second episode this week, end of last week, sorry. And I was listening to it, and I was going. There was a point of it where I say to Pad, are you part of the team now, Pad? And that's it. So now it's the two of us. Now it's both our podcasts. Now it's both of our input is all the time. Do you know what I mean? So that it evolved as quick as that from me doing it on my own. It would have been a completely different direction, wouldn't it?
Yeah, of course it would have, yeah.
So, it's, I'm glad now, we're 31 episodes in now at this point, which just seems mad to consider that, I was scared to do one for 3 years. Yeah. And now it's like, we got Owain Tudur-Jones.
Do you know what I mean? Because as much as two it probably don't mean fuck all. You can get Brits, you can get fucking Brett Johns, you can get Truns. I thought it was a bit out of order using Trundle to pick up your podcast. We would never do nothing like that. You know what I mean? But like you've got the boys here already, like to us Avenue here, without blowing smoke up your ass. Who was the Portenant Housewife's favourite ever fucking Swans player. And I can see why now. He's definitely the most handsome fucker we've had on the podcast.
Oh, absolutely.
Trundle can have all his his clothes sent to him. He can strut round thinking he's Teen Wolf. But by far and away, who smashes him in the fucking looks fucking steak. You might not be able to do an Hungarian drag back to him. You know what I mean? He was an old school defensive midfielder. Yeah. But fucking hell, he was in the Union, whenever it come up on CFAX, O.T. Jones, the Union would be gushing with the fucking Portenant Housewives. Portenant Housewives favourite.
That's good to know, isn't it?
If you ever walk through Portenant, be careful. Wear a boiler suit or something.
That's where I'm going tonight. but you know what? You're mentioning the guests that I have on now. That's the grind. What people, maybe a perception of seeing the guests that I get and stuff like that. I don't want just high profile guests. Obviously it helps in terms of getting downloads and stuff like that. Course, so, for example, Chris Gunter, when I did him, that got a big boost in seeing how many people. Mate, how many are you going to have in Japan? Have you seen how big Chris Gunter is in Japan?
That's crazy.
He's bigger than that. He's bigger than all the K-pop bands. What the fuck was that all about?
Unbelievable. So obviously that helps, but what a grind! Because I'll be honest, as a personality, I don't really like pestering people. I'm going into this.
Yeah.
It's not a nice thing to be messaging these boys because I know how footballers think, right? Footballers are selfish human beings, really. You live in your little bubble by yourself. A football bubble is unlike anything else. So I've been that side with people contacting you. Can you do this for me, mate? And I say, for God's sake, I can't be asked for this shit. Especially because it doesn't get them anything. I'm not paying them.
Of course, yeah.
So sometimes
we're not expecting us to pay.
I'm happy with coffee.
We put on a tab downstairs at Denny's.
But people don't know. A lot of people don't know what podcast is. So it takes doing it, and then at the end, lads going, "Oh, I enjoyed that. Yeah. That was relaxed. It's unlike anything else that I've done in terms of interviews and shit like that." So it's a grind. It's a grind to get people.
Even for yourself, like,
of course.
The contacts you've got, it's probably, like you said, don't like asking, like I said. This have gone on longer.
Yeah.
the build up to us getting there with you, I've gone on longer than Kim Jong-un meeting Trump. Well, not Kim, or as ping pong poo as my missus likes to call him, innit? But this has gone on longer than who shot fucking JR in Dallas. This has been on the cards for the ages.
It was, and it was, like you say, where we've been lucky is we know a lot of people, but people seem to want us to do well. So people have come to us and gone, like Boy Paddy works with said, the plays with Trundle. Think we can get Trundle on a podcast? When Paddy texted me that, I was like, "Are you fucking joking, mate?" Do you know what I mean? And we were on I think it was on episode 7 or 8 at that time. So well, he's got to be number 10, isn't he? You know,
LT10,
LT10, isn't it? So it worked out perfect. And Trundle, you know him. So
I've listened back to your podcast with him.
Yeah.
The only thing missing, I was waiting to hear his zip come down, and then you boys just taking his old.
Not a chance.
That was me. That was me.
No way.
Like I fucking told him straight. It was weird for me because like I said, 10 weeks before that, I'd never met Trundle, and I could never even think. But he's my favourite player of all time. You know, so behind you obviously, and. For him to be sitting in my kitchen, me and him having a can of Guinness for like 2.5 hours talking football, that's like dream world stuff to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I stand straight up and I tell you straight, like, you know what I mean? I was quite happy to tell Trundle he's my fucking hero, because he is, like. And then I was even more my hero afterwards because of the type of bloke he is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He was so easygoing, such a good laugh, and since then I've been in contact with him and he's just cool as a cucumber. I think we could probably text him now and say fancy doing it next week. He probably would, because that's the way he is. You know. So yeah,
and that's the beauty of podcasts. I found that we're talking about Joe Rogan and stuff, and a lot of the time what they say is an opportunity to put your phone down and just talk to people, right? So Truns now, if you met Truns in a pub. And you shook his hand, you'd have a minute chat, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
This has given you the opportunity to sit down with him for 2 hours or whatever.
Yeah.
Your phones, no one's on their phone checking Twitter and stuff like that. You just, whether it's football, whether it's tables and chairs, whatever your topic is, you just get a chance to just talk shit. Don't you?
Plus, as well, it gives fans who, like you said, probably wouldn't like meet Trundle or have an hour with yourself. It gives them the chance to hear what he were like. Like I've heard you enough now over the hours that I've listened to. You come across well. You come across as a good laugh. I was sort of bloke and the same as Trundle. People hear Trundle for that 2 or 3 hours using fucking Ryan's kitchen and think, fuck me, as Ryan said, I like him a little bit more now. If I was humanly possible, come on, he talked about anything. Yeah. Even though he's with the club, he didn't sort of hold back. He was more than willing to talk about anything we asked him, and it just makes you think, oh, fair play. They are still out there, these footballers. You know what I mean? They might not get... Footballers get a bad press. I bet you've had a bad press over the years. You know what I mean? People do... But it's hard for a footballer to be tidy all the time, isn't it? Like when you're there, like 24 hours a day, if you go to Tesco at 11 o'clock at night and someone sees you might be pissed off, you might be in a bad mood. But if you don't sort of fuss this person, they go back and tell 20 men, fuck, Owain Tudur-Jones is fucking
he's a
bit of a knob. A lot uglier than I thought. He's only popular in Portland.
Yeah. No, you're right, boys. I mean, footballers, you hear it all the time. They're human, aren't they? We're all people. It's just they get, certainly the top end, they earn so much money these days that affinity, that relationship between fans and players has changed.
Of course it has. Yeah.
It isn't there quite the same anymore. Players aren't as open to having a chat or going to the pub and stuff like that because they're under so much scrutiny.
Yeah, of course.
It's tough for them.
Yeah. Well, even look at what happened to Roy, innit? On a train. Roy Hodgson's talking to a fan and he slagged the player off or something. Fan put it straight up on Twitter. Like fucking 800,000 views in a day. And you're thinking...
You're not safe to do anything these days because everyone's a rat, aren't they? Everyone wants to grasp everyone wants to put it on Instagram.
Everyone wants how many views or retweets.
Look at the Carragher when he spat at the girl, right? Now, who's probably the same as us. If Carragher spits at my daughter, I ain't going to be filming behind saying, Carragher spat at my daughter. Well, you're going to be fucking going to give him some shit. Yeah. But if you notice, the guy had so much shit back when he was a little rat that he all of a sudden he was like, I don't really want Carragher to lose his job. You know what I mean?
It shocked him, didn't it?
Yeah, of course he was. He should have expected it. He was more obsessed about giving the commentary, Jamie Carragher spat at my daughter, than actually thinking, grown man has spat at my daughter. Like, this. as you said, everyone's a rat, you know.
Yeah, it's an issue. But like I said, with like getting you on, like I was just at football with my son, and Di, Di Jones, Di Train, we call him, right? Di's boy was playing against my boy, so I'm standing on the sideline, and we know Di years because we play football against each other. So Di shouts over, Ryan, and he's walking over towards me, and he goes, "I'm meeting Owain Tudur-Jones today for a pint." He said, "Do you want to see if I can get him on a podcast?" Now, I didn't know at this point that Di even listened. Yeah. But Di came out of his way to come to me and say, "Do you want me to try and help you out?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah, of course, mate. Yeah, if you can do that, that'd be amazing for me." So we've been very lucky that way with Trundle, with yourself, and with other people that are potential futures down the line. Is like people are...
That's what you hope, isn't it? Yeah, there's a link there that someone else, if someone phones me or Trunds and says, the boys want to get you on, fucking fill your boots, do you know what I mean?
And then, like I say, Trundle especially there at that time, because before that we were just having our mates on and we were having a knock around, like, and just having a laugh and hoping for the best. But when you have Trundle on, from that point on, you can always say, "But we had Lee Trundle on." And now we can say, "We had Lee Trundle on, no one Tudur-Jones."
I spoke to John Hartson Sunday.
Yeah.
My missus, she'll torture anyone, right? He was in the airport in New York talking to a guy from Brooklyn. From the Bronx, sorry. Yeah. There's murders in the airport. Basically, I caused a fucking mini riot, right? Because there was queues going on. Some people from Spain was fucking pushing in, and there was murders, right? But then we was talking to this guy, laughing about it afterwards. He said works in the Bronx. Went out there 20 years ago coaching football, and my missus says, "Oh, Paddy's got a podcast." And I'm kicking under the table, saying, "Shut the fuck up, it's been embarrassing," like, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden now he's coming on in July to talk about 20 years, and he listened to it and said, "Fuck mate, it's like being back home for a bit, big Kettering town fan."
Yeah, well he's been listening, and then so he's coming from America to Kettering. It's out of the Midlands, is it? Yeah, and then he's travelling down from the Midlands to my house to do the podcast.
Is he not getting a Denny's?
Well, he may do. We were talking about it before you came. We were talking about it.
You're dropping us in the shit now, mate. Not everyone can have a fucking Denny's, mate.
Fucking Leon be fucking having an heart attack. You have to close the place down.
I'll be having a heart attack, more like all the fucking pancakes.
So we come in now, because this is the first time we've been in this room. Obviously the first time we've been outside my kitchen, and we were like, this is not bad, this will probably be alright, like, and we were testing out the sound and that, because that aircon system, I wasn't sure, and we were having a chat now probably 10 minutes before you came, and he was like, "We can use this for a few other people," and I'm looking at what we got in coming in, like, and I'm like, right, that guy, oh, we may have to do Martin, because he's travelling a long way, like, we'll have to look after him, won't we? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but he's fully sick of fucking Denny's, isn't he?
That's true.
He wants to come to Miller and Carter, but we can't fucking afford that, so you'll have to have a Denny's. He probably has this 3 times a day.
What we'll have to do is, anyone listening that knows Mr. Miller or Mr. Carter, they can put a word in for us. We'll go there and have a shout to Brian.
It's weird though, isn't it? You go into different buildings. I've done it now. Like at the start, I'd record anywhere, Truns, and then you learn, oh shit, the sound's not great in there. So you adapt, and then because I'm almost pestering people, do you fancy coming on the podcast? So, and then I'm going to them. Yeah. It's like, oh, where do you want to meet? And then they recommend this one place, and you go there, and you think, oh, I did one with Brian Gunn, my gaffer at Norwich, and there was background music in this restaurant. And I've asked them to turn it down, which they did. 5 minutes in, it's back on. Yeah. And you're thinking, what do I do? I can't really stop it. Yeah. You listen back, and it's like, the noise isn't great.
Well, we nearly had it downstairs. Like, I thought we was going to do it in a corner downstairs. Yeah. And then I was sitting down there earlier, and the fucking 20th Century Fox music come on. So we'd be talking about it when he went, she's nearly crying, how an ended in Korea. And the fucking Star Wars music come on. You know what I mean? They wishing Bongo for Penlan happy birthday. You know what I mean? Fucking bad timing, son.
Like in my kitchen, it's definitely because my missus and my kids, because it's that time of night we do it. We always do it like 8 o'clock at night, because my kids are going to bed, and my missus, like, she's cool, so she'll go upstairs, watch TV. So I shuts my living room door, then we go out to my kitchen, and I shut them doors as well. So I've got like a double block really, and it's only us, and that's it. She's not allowed to put the heating on. Yeah. She's upstairs with fucking 3 layers of pajamas on.
Right.
So,
so it would have been 4 if we would have been in there, bastard.
So it's pretty. You don't really hear the background noise there, so coming in here was all a little bit different, but we checked it out, like, we're not exactly pros, but, you can see the setup. Is your setup any more professional than this?
No, it's not. It's really not. I've got a little machine in my bag, 100 quid or something like that, and then off you go. you're just hoping for the best. Really, hope some crying little baby doesn't walk in.
Yeah.
Spoil it. But that's like you say. That's the beauty of it. We could literally, you can do it on a hop, can you? If you fancy doing it, you could. Like we going to Liam Gallagher now in the end of June, and we talked about on a train on the way up.
Getting him on the podcast.
Well, we get him on, yeah. But there's a couple of boys coming up who we've considered for the podcast before, so we're all going to be on a train together.
Okay.
So I know that will pick up background noise and that. So that may...
Fucking also could lead to arrests and job losses.
Plus, we're going to be on the swing on the way up as well. So God knows what'll happen. Yeah. But, you're taking a chance with something like that. But at the same time, what's the point in not taking a chance? Like, I've already taken the biggest chance in, like, getting us started.
That's the beauty of it. You put yourself out there. Some guests might be more boring than you want them to be. Sometimes there's a little bit of noise. You live in it. It's a podcast in it. That's what I liked when I first started doing it. I work in radio, TV, and stuff like that. And I talked about this podcast for a little while, and people didn't really know what it was. You put the first one out there, and you live and learn. Like my intro for the first one with Truns was so long. It was the day after the Wales Ireland game, and my intro, because my influence is Brendan Sharp talking shit by himself for 2 hours. So I'm taking that and thinking I can do it. So I'm talking for 10, 15 minutes. And then you listen back and I think, you can't do that, Owain.
No.
People have no interest, the people who would listen to it. And then you get then judgment of people. I think the chat is too long. It's like an hour. In my mind, I'm thinking, no, you're used to radio, cutting it, getting it clean, just get the juicy bits out there. That's not what I want, I'm happy with a chat going on for however long it does. But I did learn with the intro.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, we're at the point where if I did less than 2 hours, I'd probably have my throat cut before I got to work in the morning. Seriously.
I think the timing of today is perfect. Simply because, like you said, sometimes we have friends on who could have easily had a fucking bin man from Blind and Mike sitting over there.
Yeah.
But as it is now, we got yourself, and the timing of it is fucking, well, I don't know whether it's great or terrible. I didn't think we'd be going into the last game with fuck all to play for.
Yeah.
Huddersfield have just done exactly what we should have done, wasn't it? Whereas we were saying we got tonked against Man City, saying this game is not the game we look at to keep us up. Like when we went to Man United and lost 2-0 and were poor, again we were told, this isn't the game that keeps us up.
Where it started, right? We had Carvalho had come in and had that sort of
Liverpool,
spell,
Arsenal,
right? And then we played Spurs in the FA Cup, and he sort of rested players.
Yeah.
But he went out with and it was at home. You got nothing to lose. It's a cup game. I'm in my head going, go for it.
Yeah.
It's a cup game.
Yeah.
Your quarterfinals of the FA Cup. Just go for it. And then he put out. It's not so much even the side he put out, but it was the nature in which they played. And then I was really frustrated by that game. Really frustrated. And if you look at the fixtures, which I did because someone posted on Twitter and I had a chance to look at it. Ever since then, we drew 2 games, didn't win a single game. I think we scored 4 goals in 10 games, some shit like that. And you go in, I'm not saying, obviously, that just seems like the beginning of it, the beginning of the poor form.
Is it going in and sticking, playing at that level, like, is that sticking in, like, the loser's mentality comes into the dressing room?
Yeah, it's tough, isn't it? I've never played in the Premier League, and
but we played at the highest level.
But it's the same in any level. I've been relegated once with Hibs. If that momentum shifts against you, you're in trouble. And I just think I completely agree with you. I remember I've worked on the games. That Spurs game I was at, and then you looked at the fixtures. I think Man United away was next.
Yeah.
And Swansea were in a position, obviously they were doomed Christmas time, got their lead.
Of course, yeah.
And then everyone almost just got a little bit too relaxed, a bit too lax. And then you look at them fixtures, and I promise, I said it on the radio, Man United away is easily a game Swansea could lose. Decent record there, but, picture this, you lose at Man United. Then go to West Brom away. For Swansea is a tough game.
Of course it is,
at the bottom of the league, that's a tough game. So the home record at that time was what was decent, wasn't it? Since Carvalho came in.
Burnley, there was a big game.
So don't get a win in those 2 games. All of a sudden, Everton at home, and then you've got Man City, Chelsea, and that's exactly what happened. It snowballed, and I think relegation has come probably West Brom and Everton, the 2 draws.
Yeah,
in that you win one of them, and at least you're going into Sunday with something to fight for.
People that I was speaking to, more positive people than me. When I saw that Spurs result, we had 31 points, or maybe 30 points at that time, 30,
Yeah.
31. And people were going, it's just one more win. It's just one more win. We didn't get one more win.
It
Do
snowballs.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, it like you say, it's momentum. You know, if we'd have had a go at Spurs, then gone and had a go at Man United, but the Spurs performance and the Man United, you can put them alongside each other. They look exactly the same. It's just two negative performances with no real desire to win it.
To give you an example of momentum, when I was with Hibs, so signed for Hibs, big club in Scotland.
Of course they are, yeah.
Big club, Easter Road, good stadium, fans. I didn't like them because they didn't like me, but that's another story.
That's story for later.
We can get into that after. I was part of a poor team, you know, decent players, but a poor team, and the manager was sacked, Pat Fenlon, Terry Butcher come in, and then it was like February time where he thought we were safe. He starts hammering the players, you know, not many of these are going to be here next season, and you're thinking, oh, Gaffer, we're mid-table, but we're not really safe, and he's hammering the players, and he did lose the dressing room. And then what you have in Scotland, towards the end of the season, there's a split for the final 5 games, bottom half, top half. So we were in a position, we were 7th, so top of the bottom half had to play everyone else below us once more. And we couldn't score a goal, never mind get a win. And that momentum, that snowball effect, oh my God, like you felt it, you know, in the dressing room.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
What can we do? And I know people will judge, fans will judge Swansea, if you talk about effort and stuff like that. It's never effort. A player isn't out there not trying.
I agree.
You know, it isn't. It looks maybe as if one or two are tossing it off or whatever. Sometimes, collectively, you're just off it. That you're 2-3 yards off the pace, that your position is a little bit wrong, which means you can't get there to close down. And in a poor side that's struggling, sometimes that's what happens. And Swansea
I went down Tuesday. I took my oldest boy down, and I couldn't fault. I don't think anyone out there was giving less than 100%, but it's about 100% with the quality that goes with it. And there were so many lagging quality, and especially in the final third, I thought we were atrocious. You know,
that's been the story for a while.
It's been a story for a while, but I think it shone even more on Tuesday because I can't remember the last time I saw a Swan side play so many hopeful balls.
Yeah.
It looked like when they played him from back to front, and when they got wide, we took long throws like we were Stoke, right? On Tuesday night, which I haven't seen us ever do. It looked like we were hoping someone would miskick something to us, that someone would slice a header to us. Instead of trying to actually build the play yourself and create something yourself, it was like, let's hope Southampton are that bad that they give us something, like, you know. And it just the more it
like
went,
we got no win against Huddersfield like that, didn't we? If you remember, you know what I mean.
Well, yeah, but that was start of the season.
They sort of gifted it to us rather. We weren't that great.
Arsenal gifted us that goal with Czech when they throw in. You know, we've had some gifts this year. The Crystal Palace one with Hennessy when he went in, he sort of shit the 50-50 with AU and scored. And you know, look at the goals that that we've scored. There's not many of them, and there's a lot of them that are not really great goals. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really talked about it on the last podcast. Was the last podcast or the one before?
The goal
about the goal of the season. I know there wasn't really any great goals. You know, Jordan Ayew's against Wolves was good. He beat about 5 players and he kept going and scored. And there was a couple of good goals in there. But there was no real, let's pick that out of the stanchion from 30
None of them are going to
goals.
get on the 101 great goals video we all had as kids, like with Justin Fashion who hit it in the fucking top corner with his left one. You know what I mean?
None of them are going to do it. And I think that's just tantamount. That's our season right there. I tell you what summed our season up. We were in the 93rd minute, right? I think something like that, and the ball went out for a throw in on the left hand side for us, and we are in the final third, edge of the penalty area, and Klukas ran over to get it, and he picked it up and he looked up. Now bear in mind, we are desperate for a goal. Our whole season depends on us getting a goal to give us a chance to stay up, and he had nothing to throw to. And I'm with my boy and I'm going, where's the options? What's he got? Well, by the time he went like this, he had nowhere to go. By the time, I don't know who it was, Tom Carroll or someone made a run to him. By the time he saw them, they were so close to him, he threw it against Carroll and it went out for a throw-in for them. And there was a fella sitting next to me and I said, if there's one moment that sums up our season, it's that for there. no options, and then when you do something, there's a load of shit, and you give it back to the other
Do
team.
you know what I noticed? I wasn't at the game on Tuesday. I didn't even watch it all on telly. Watched little bits. Busy man, you know.
Yeah.
Terrific dad, isn't it? I noticed it might have been different at the ground. You could correct me. 90 minutes are up, 1-0 down. You know, you're pretty much relegated if you don't get a goal. And the board for 6 minutes came up, and it might have been different. It might be the noise on telly. I didn't sense that the whole stadium got up and fucking come on, boys. 6 minutes.
Yeah.
It was almost like this has been inevitable for a while, for a
Yeah.
couple of seasons. Oh, bollocks! It's actually happening now.
Yeah.
Does
Yeah,
that make
I-
sense?
I think
The
that's what I
atmosphere
sensed.
sounded great at the beginning of the game, but like you said at the end,
I
it was like flat, as if everyone just resigned to the fact that
It
we
was,
weren't going down.
and I didn't. And now you're saying that, that is exactly what it was. Because we've all been in games sitting in a crowd where the crowd have done that. and
Doesn't matter what the
lifted.
board is. If it's 3
Exactly.
minutes,
Yeah,
Come
yeah,
on,
come on, yeah.
But there's no, like you say, people are resigned. People are apathetic to it all now. You know what I mean? They've had a season, well, not one season of it. We've had 3 seasons of it now,
Yeah.
pretty much. And it was like, we know we're not going to score,
Yeah.
so just fucking blow up now. Like that's the
You
way
not
it felt.
think though, you don't sell Sigerson and cash him in. There's 10 goals there.
Yeah.
Who up? Who's staying up?
Well, let's
Do you
look
not
at it. Sigurdsson and Llorente.
Because Newcastle are safe, quite comfortably safe with 41 points. I hate that magic 40 points. It gives people people aim for the 40 then, and it's a fucking myth, isn't it? You know, it's bullshit to aim for a certain number of points. Like I said, Newcastle stayed up with 41, but who keeps Siggy? There's your 10 goals.
You can't-
Like.
I don't.
And is that 40 million worth the 60 million we'll lose by being relegated, you know?
It's all hindsight with who you bring in, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
Llorente goes.
Recruitment is key when it comes to management, players.
And that's been the downfall.
Yeah.
You know, with the greatest of respect, again, I have never played Premier League football. I don't.
You keep pulling yourself
No,
fucking
no,
down
yeah,
there.
that's me. What
I don't
I'm
think you're
trying to
doing
say is,
yourself justice. Like
I
that.
know that every player in that squad is a decent footballer. I know what they've been through to get to where they are. But if you're looking at Premier League safety and stuff, and you see Llorente going, and Wilfred Boney is your man. Now, knowing lads who have played with Boney in the last couple of seasons, you know, I'm thinking this is a long shot, because as far as I am aware, he's done.
Really?
You know,
So why don't everyone
physically
fucking know that, innit?
So physically,
Because all footballers talk, don't they?
Yeah.
So you tell me the Swansea board, who's ever in charge of fucking recruitment, don't know that as well.
Well,
If
they
you know
should.
it, every other fucker knows
Yeah.
it. Especially like someone like Brits now. Who tell me Brits, Sam, you heard on the grapevine, the fucking Boney's gone.
But he has
And
no influence on who comes in. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe
It's
he
not as
fucking should then.
Yeah,
Do you know what
but,
I mean?
but nobody comes and talks to the players are the last to know.
Yeah.
And I just got sucked in. I'm thinking, signing Boney, you know, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
If you bring in others, and he's one of many, no problem. If he's a great guy, if he's on his day, like I heard Neil Taylor, Tails used to say, in training, you know, small-sided games, if Boney was in your team, you won the game.
Right, yeah.
That's how influential he was in his
Yeah,
first
yeah.
stint. But by the time it come round to the second time, you're thinking, I'm not sure. And then
It's
he
2
did,
years out there.
he did that video when he was singing, and I got sucked in. As soon as I heard,
in
oh,
Ryan's
Wilfred
kitchen, mate, we
Boney.
fucking
Yeah.
we eat the reggae sauce. We fucking got the wigs on. We
thought,
fucking
yeah,
watching
well-
Cool Runnings. He's fucking loving it. We in Renato Sanchez. We like at fucking Europe.
Yeah.
I was booking plane tickets to Malmo again.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Fucking
The-
Renato's
the
too
two-
busy
the
now
two-
selling fucking new emojis. Like timing,
fuck's
mate.
sake.
For fuck's
Timing,
sake,
innit?
innit?
Yeah.
Timing, please.
But in the first podcast we did, we talked about Boney and Sanchez had just signed,
Yeah.
and it was like, yeah, this is giving us. You know, we were sold as well. We were sold, and then they're the 2 biggest letdowns actually of the season as regards to. All right, they were both out for long periods, injured as well, but when they've been on the pitch, they haven't delivered. You know, neither of them. And when you're pinning your hopes really on them two to be your stars, and then they're not even on the pitch to be your stars.
Yeah.
You know, I think another thing as well is teams are built, don't they, right, on characters, and I think we lack characters. I think we lack characters at championship level. This is my concern with going down, right, is there's not a graft in most of them, right? We're going to probably lose most, and I would imagine someone, the likes of Southampton or Everton or someone like this will come in. I know they talked about Man United. I think that's probably a little bit too far before change. But we're probably going to lose most, and then may likely lose Fabianski, who was by far the biggest loss.
Yeah.
And actually, they're two of our bigger characters. So when you go into a championship, which is always physical, which is always tough, where there are characters and you've got none. The first time we went up, we could outplay teams there. We still had characters like Gary Monk and Ashley Williams and Neil Taylor and boys like that, Rangel.
Yeah.
But we could outplay teams, so we didn't really get drawn in a battle. We can't outplay teams now. Now we can't outbattle teams either. So what are we going to do next year? Because what options have we got? If we can't outplay teams, we can't outbattle them. We can't outscore teams.
If you had a choice now, and I don't think we've got any ties to the club, like, you know, we could say, but they got rid of Carvajal this afternoon, didn't they? It's a fucking really...
He'll be in charge Sunday, yeah?
He'll be in charge Sunday.
But he's gone after that. Totally fucking unclassy of the Swans, which is exactly the way we've gone over the last couple of years. We've gone from being the club where everyone said, wow, what a well-run club, you know, stable, off the pitch, fucking brilliant to watch on it, to now, again, we like leaking the fact that this is his last game, even though it looked to me as if he was a manager brought in to say, well, if you go down, you'll do a job there, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You look like you've got a giggle, like you know someone who's going to be our next manager. You know?
That's why he's here. He's going to sign a contract later.
I really don't. But like, who do you go? Like, I was seeing the betting.
Yeah.
Like,
I wasn't impressed by any of
Coleman is favourite, right? Love Coleman, Town Hill boy, Swansea boy, really great guy, done wonders for Wales. But as a club manager, you know, he is not really proven, so that'd be a massive risk. You've got Pardew on there, and you had McLaren on there.
No.
McLaren's just gone to QPR the last hour.
Okay.
All the way got sacked.
All the way got sacked, so he's gone there. But do we really want the fucking merry-go-round, the same faces? Or do we go crazy and say, like, do what Rangers are doing and give Britain a go? Britain with Kurt as a number 2, unless Kurt want nothing to do with the club after the way he got treated. Could you see Britain? Because I know if we want to get the fans back on fucking board, who give it a little thought to getting Britain in my opinion, as a fan, like looking at it from the outside. If we want to, unless you want to go into the summer, and I hate the people on Twitter. When we beat Liverpool Arsenal, there was some groups on Twitter calling for the board out. All of a sudden went quiet. Now we're going down. They back out.
I was going to bring that up. Yeah.
You know, not for me. To me, it's not. I look at the bigger picture. I look at whether the club will still be going in 10 years. When we had the supporters running it, I thought we got enough money now with the Premier League and we got people in charge of the stable. We'll always have a club. You know what I mean? Because I think going to the Championship, take away, yes, it's a fucking blow, not a match of the day after Cardi on Saturday night. But it's not. Let's not get dragged into it being the be-all and end-all, like the Sky and fucking Glenn Hoddle and people like that tell you on Soccer Sunday. There is football, it is life in football after the Premier League. Like, you look at that
if any club should know it, it's us.
Yeah, of course, yeah. You know, so, to me, unless you're going to have a summer discontent and fucking bored out and all that, if you give it to someone like Brits, might be an experience, but by fuck, he knows this fucking Swansea system, cares about the fucking club. You know what I mean? Would you go for the fucking...
Not for the trade.
I would hope. I would hope now. Relegation is sad for the club. Obviously, I think you boys would agree with me in that being relegated. You know, when next season starts, hopefully there'll just be that little bit of excitement.
Spot on.
You know, the Premier League is obviously the dream for everybody, every team in the lower leagues and stuff. But you boys have been through the mill now in that the first 3-4 seasons amazing, and then you've got caught up in this league where it's just survival. I hope we survive.
Whereas it's the Kirbishley effect, isn't it? Yeah, whereas do remember, Charlton got pissed off with Kirbishley because they were pissed off for finishing 12th.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then they get it.
Yeah.
And where the fuck are Charlton now? Like, sometimes, you know...
So the Championship will provide hope.
Yeah.
Whether you're having a mediocre season and you're mid-table and there's 10 games to go, at least as a fan you look at it and think, do you know what, if we win 10 of the last 12 games, fucking we're going to make
Wembley again.
I'm already planning my away trip.
The likelihood is if you're not going to do that, but it gives you a little bit of hope instead of let's hope we survive and stuff. And then the manager, a bit of excitement. Who's going to come in? I hope it's not going to be one of a Pardew or something like that. You hope someone outside the box. Whether you're looking at, I don't know, is it Graham Potter at Östersund? I remember playing against them going on pre-season when they were in the 5th tier of Swedish football.
Oh, that's the guy who's taking
to Europa League. Thinking outside the box. I don't think it's for Brits. I don't think it's something that he wants to do.
Yeah.
In terms of that being the next thing that he does after playing. But I just hope that it brings excitement.
Yeah.
Is there someone out there like a Rodgers, a Roberto, who can... It doesn't have to be that same Swansea way that it used to be. Something.
What I was saying about that guy, that to me sounds, no matter what league he's done it in now, he could be a fucking great manager, can he?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the sound of it. I haven't heard of him. But he's got to be something about him to do it at that, whether it's any fucking level. You know what I mean? There's got to be something different.
And I'm sure there's money. I'm sure there's money involved for him to do that. But there's a link with the club, because Roberto used to take us to Sweden in pre-seasons.
Really?
And we used to play against Östersund.
Yeah.
I remember beating them 7-0. They were shocking.
Yeah.
A couple of the young boys, I think Chad Bond, if you remember him.
Yeah, of course,
Did Kerry Morgan go out there? A few lads went there on loan and stuff. Living the dream out in the Swedish little village and stuff.
No, that's not where Scott Coughlin is it?
That is one of the of the local boys.
He's not in
So there's a tie there.
Yeah.
Get him in.
Yeah.
Get him in.
Graham
Potter.
Yeah.
Here first.
Who stuck a one on?
with Britain, I agree with you. When we spoke to Trundle, we talked about him as in management stuff. He said it wasn't for him. He's happy doing what he's doing as regarding the ambassadorial role. And I think when you take that step in, like Gary Monk, when you take that step into management, there's always, when you fail, it's like as if you can't come back. Do you know what I mean? And then that's what's sad, because Gary Monk will always be remembered as a legend as a player, and taking us to a more successful league spot.
But there's a but.
But there's a but, and if you're Leon Britton, who has even bigger legendary status than Monk's.
Could you say greatest ever player?
He's definitely be in the talk.
I don't remember the players from before and stuff, but
he definitely be in the talk.
Even though we kept him on the sideline.
Which, I remind him of that
technically, where does that put him?
Brits was no good player when Kenny Jack was having him launch a ball over his fucking head.
But in fairness to him, he'd play right wing and he was our best player.
But I see that. I look at Leon and I see that, and I don't think he doesn't want to be part of the club. So there's more chance of him being like Trundle, like Alan Curtis, and being here forever in some capacity, than taking a step and being, I'll have a go at manager. But then 10 months down the line, maybe 3 years down the line, getting a sack and then he can't come back. Do you know what I mean?
He can do that, working for the club behind the scenes, enjoy his life, do his media bits and bobs.
Because he is good.
He's good.
He's
excellent. Really well. And do you know what? There's a respect, obviously, what he does on the pitch. He's got a bit of charisma. People like him, but he talks sense as well.
Yeah.
If you want to be a manager or a coach, I promise you, that is a 24-hour a day job. You cannot switch off. And Brits, I'm in the same boat. I don't really want that. I don't want to think about football 24 hours a day and have a pressure. It doesn't matter what level, whether it's in the Welsh League or Premier League. It's just.
Have you done your badges?
Well, I was on the A licence with Brits and Truns.
Yeah.
So I didn't listen to much because Truns was always just making us
laugh. Oh
my God, it's hard to focus. But we were all on there. We've all still got some coursework to do. We haven't passed yet.
I can imagine you all in a room fucking Britain hiding his paper.
Everyone was licking his balls, weren't they? He was always, Leon, what's your experience? And then his chest to come out and he's telling, well, at Swansea we did this. It's,
and then Trundle comes in, hey, when I was with Colwyn Bay, lad.
Brits have got to stand on the chair so you can see him anyway.
We've got like Brits went through the Lily Shaw and the academy. Did he come through the Welsh League? He wasn't in an academy, was he? Because I was talking to my mate in work, Nicky Palmer, played against him, and we said, we've got in the podcast, and he said, fucking Owain Tudur-Jones. He said, fuck me. He said, I played against him. Is it Wyn Jones? Does Wyn coaches the Swans University team? And he's been doing a little bit of stuff on the S4C as well. Nick Palmer said.
Yeah.
Nick Palmer played against him for Abbey West, and he was with Bangor, and he said you could tell he was a level above. Like he said, he was big, he was fucking strong. He said he was fucking class. But it's very rare, like a Welsh league player will
Make that step up.
get snapped up.
Do you know? Because I do a little bit of research.
Well done.
Do you know? Guess how much Owain went to the Swans for?
Would have been from Bangors, yeah.
This when I saw the figure, I was like, fuck me, this is definitely how far football's come now. Even if that thing is
well, to Bangor, it'd probably be something like 5-6 grand, would it?
£5,000.
£5,000.
Yeah. That's the reported fee. I don't think anything was paid, to be honest.
Really?
That sounds like the Swans.
But not the Swans' fault. Actually, I was out of contract, so Bangor were actually trying to be a little bit sly.
Never.
They were trying to get me to sign a contract and back.
Knowing the Swans. I don't like that, yeah.
So Kenny Jackett pulled me in the office and he said, "Big man, are you contracted? I thought you were out of contract." And I'm thinking, I'm not ruining my chances here.
Fuck no.
In case they won't pay.
Yeah.
I said, no, I've got no contract. So I don't know if they came up with some sort of agreement and stuff like that. But that's the route I took. Yeah. I wasn't quite good enough. One, location-wise, there was no real clubs close to Bangor. Talking about Wrexham, an hour away, and then Liverpool, Everton. Had trials with all of them growing up. Liverpool when I was 12, Everton when I was 10. Never quite good enough. So started playing for Bangor at 16 and had
That's quite young to be that level.
It is young. Now my size helped. So men's football in the League of Wales, physical. I was long and wiry as you see now, which helped. Had the first season breakthrough, no shock. Seasons 2 and 3 injuries, but by the time I'd come back for the fourth, I was 20, captain, and I just hit my stride. Really, I'd got to another level. I was probably standing out. Felt that it was time for me to move on. It's just at the time, the trials that I'd spent a week at Aston Villa, I'd spent a week at Chelsea. Soon after Abramovich took over, training with their second team. Sharing a shower with Crespo and Ranieri and stuff like that. But the trials, brilliant experiences, but unrealistic. That step up.
Really?
I'm not going from Bangor to Chelsea. It's not happening.
Of course, yeah.
So when the Swansea opportunity came up, just gone to League One, it just made a little bit more sense.
Who did they scout you then, or did you come on trial?
It was well, what happened that summer? So I'd had that successful season with Bangor. I just felt I was on a different level, really.
So you could tell then, really.
Yeah, I felt it, really. I felt it. And then I got capped by the Wales semi-professional team, went over to Ireland for a tournament, and the manager was Andy Beattie. He's associated with Newport, and his assistant manager was a guy called John Relish, who knew Kenny Jackett.
Right.
So I think after that tournament, he said, "Come and have a look at this lad." Kenny came to watch me play a European game for Bangor, and offered me a trial.
And then the rest is history.
Kenny will even say it. He said, he's saying it to me, half joking, but I thought you were shite, which wasn't true. It wasn't my best game, but he said, "I seen you were a captain. At 20, leading a side like Bangor out in a European game, seen you had a little bit
Sometimes
about
you look at the bigger picture.
Yeah. So it was a trial. He didn't sign me straight away. It was about getting stuck in with the boys and just new experiences. From
that must be, well, for one, you've got the step from the semi-pro game to the pro game, and then you're coming from North Wales to South Wales, which in itself is probably a bit of a change.
Well, I was thinking about this, right? I actually feel sorry. I don't think it's fair, the North Wales thing. North Wales seems to have fuck all. Nobody sit back and think about it. If you want to watch Wales play, you're coming down here.
Yeah.
You want to watch Wales playing the rugby, you're coming down here.
Yeah.
Two big sides, you're coming down here like Wrexham. I used to love Wrexham with Steve Walker. You always remember them on the BBC News at 6 o'clock. He would show the highlights.
They were the top team of Wales for a long time.
Yeah.
But it doesn't seem to have, gone are the days where Wales would play at the racecourse, beat Spain 3-0, Mark Hughes with a scissors kick. You don't seem to get in North Wales. It doesn't seem to be anything happening.
It's just been announced today that before flying out to LA, the national team is going to train at the racecourse.
Really?
So that's as good as it gets.
Yeah. When he pointed his finger at the cup, I thought North Wales was having a fucking Denny's. Fucking no chance of that.
No chance. But it is different. And funnily enough, it almost helped me. I was from North Wales. It's 4 hours away from here, but I think being Welsh, people still almost saw me as local.
Yeah,
whether
of course.
it's coming
From
from non-league. Coming from non-league to a club and breaking into a team, you get a bit more leeway with fans and stuff. You know, I was a little bit raw, if you like, in terms of technical ability at the time, but people let you get away with a little bit more.
W was a bit of a fan's favourite.
Yeah, but
you know.
well, obviously, yeah, you know, at that time you were also coming in. The Swans were on the up as well, weren't they? So you're coming into a good side that was settled. Do you know what I mean? It makes it easier for.
Good dressing.
And that's what I can tell from listening to your podcast when you've got Brits and Truns and Ferry Border and Aberfan and that on there. You can tell the camaraderie there just from when you're sitting around and speaking to them, like, you know what I mean? You can tell that your friends. You can tell that at that time there must have been a strong dressing room there, like, you know.
Great time to play for the Swans, like.
Good time. What a dressing room to walk into for your first professional club. An eye-opener. You know, I'll be honest, playing for Bangor, growing up in Bangor, didn't really come across that many people from different parts of the world.
Of course,
so you're talking about foreign players, black lads, you know,
Yeah,
sharing
yeah.
the dressing room with lads who, you know, these London boys who were dancing in the dressing room and stuff. I'm thinking, what the fuck is going on here? You know, I think I was number 23 to start with. I had Izzy, Eric Penn, number 22 once.
Character.
I think Leon Knight came in later.
Fucking
22.
biggest fucking character, yeah.
You know, so different eye-opening experience
Of course
for
it
me,
would
but
be, yeah.
it helps develop your personality.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say to start with I was a big character in the dressing room. I'd just sit in a corner, you know, suss people out. Throughout my career, that's what I do for a few months. And then you get comfortable with people and you suss out who the strong characters are and stuff like that. There's a few in that dressing room, yeah.
Just reading them off, just two we read off there, like, it do seem like, well, it's the opposite of now, isn't it? Reading them out, it's like like a team full of characters. Like Venable says, well, Euro 96, like, you said, I had a team of fucking captains.
Yeah.
We've got Gaza, you had Redknapp, Adams, you know, Pierce.
Well, go through that Swansea team, and there's, you know, kind of iconic, maybe some star names, some kind of cult heroes, if you like. Guys like Willie Garay, Kevin Austin.
Spot on.
And then you got Monks, Tatey, Sam Ricketts did what he did. We've got Chris O'Leary, Roberto, Brits, Andy Robinson, Rory Fallon, didn't quite work for him, but Bayo, Truns, Leon Knight, you know, these are good characters, you know.
It did work out for Rory because he ended up going out with this girl from Birch Grove who used to model for Vogue. He done her like Billy Carly Llewellyn. A good mates with her brother Dean. She's lovely. Don't worry about that.
At that time, because we were playing so well, and you've got that strong, like, people will remember every single one, and yourself included. That squad will always be remembered fondly, like, you know, because that first season, because you're coming from like the amateur league, semi-pro leagues as well, and playing in this first season at the Liberty, you know what I mean? That must have been fucking crazy.
All that 11 was saying there, them fucking group of players who saying there are the group of players I would rather go into the fucking championship with than what we got now. I'm telling you, like all them players, as you said, the ones that are not star players, like say Brits and Trans, are fucking cult heroes like yourself and fucking Austin and Gray.
Yeah.
You know, and
but
Robinson.
But characters, you know what I mean? 100% givers. You know what I mean? When you list them off like that.
That was throughout, because I've spoke to Roberto since he left Swansea, and you know, he would talk about his journey as a manager. So at Swansea, what you had is a dressing room full of players who would do what you're told. Not in a, you know, not that he was a disciplinarian. You know, you'd put a session on and we'd enjoy it and we'd get it done and you'd work hard. He then goes to Wigan and you've got a half and half. You've got lads on big money. You've got half who would get on with it and get the work done. You've got the other half who are kind of tossing it off, kind of would ask, well, why are we doing this? You then go to Everton and it's the complete opposite to Swansea. Yeah. Everyone wants to know, what are we doing today? Why are we doing it? They need an explanation for why we're doing this, even a small-sided game.
Yeah.
So it's both sides. They're probably better players than we had at Swansea. Roberto had at Swansea, but there was just an honesty to that squad throughout Kenny and Roberto's time. You know, that just a group of honest lads.
Well, Roberto's probably looking at, and he's modelled that Swan side exactly in the vision of how he wanted it. He wanted you to do a certain job. He wanted Trans to do he wanted all his boys to do a certain job, and they did that job for him. And like when he goes to Everton, then you know, everyone's got their own idea of what they want to do because they are the top pros, they're the Premier League
I heard the
footballers.
history of Martinez as well. When his father the manager in like in
like a
Spain,
low league or something like that.
Yeah, and they reckon, I read some interview he gave when he was a kid, when he was like a teenager, in his house, the kitchen table would be full of the salt and pepper pots, and him and his father would be discussing tactics.
Yeah.
At 14, like, he knows if he's fucking destined to be like
Well,
a manager, you know.
Every training session, Roberto would have his notepad. So even under Kenny Jackett, and you know they didn't really get on.
Right.
It looked as if Roberto was going to leave, but he didn't really respect Kenny's way of being a manager. Maybe,
Of course, yeah.
but he'd still note down every training session in his
Really?
notepad. You know, every session Kenny put on anything. He was just he was a student of the game, and
Yeah.
you know.
Because look at that gamble now. Because you know, at this time, this is when I was really into the Swans season ticket holder. Was going all the time in 2006, and I remember Jacket leaving the part of the way through the second season, wasn't it?
06, 07.
Yeah, and when he left, and they go, who are you going to get in? And someone said, because I think Roberto was with Chester,
That's
someone
right, yeah.
playing at the time,
Yeah.
and it was like. Oh, they're going to bring in Roberto Martinez. I was like, what, as manager? And there's like this worry. It's like, well, he's never managed before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that was the gamble that Hugh Jenkins and the board used to make then and get right. So they got Martinez right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know, if you look back even further than that, and you go Brian Flynn, Kenny Jackett doesn't quite get the respect he deserves because he took us out of.
Got the job done.
Yeah. And a bit of silverware as well,
Yeah,
which is what football's all about, fucking winning stuff. Let's get away from the fucking...
And people take the piss, you see, of the, whatever it was called at the
LDV.
time. Yeah, the LDV trophy.
It's the biggest cup it's
At
a
the
cup.
time.
Yeah.
What a day, do you know?
What a day out.
Oh, fuck.
You know,
one of the greatest days in the Brumelin boys' fucking history. Genuine, honestly.
Yeah. 62 on a fucking 50-seater.
Yeah.
Up in Cardiff a quarter to 9 in the
that's just on
morning.
the way up. On the way back, we had 83. Fucking nightmare.
But, like, you know, you think about, like, we were in the stadium when Trundle brought that ball down and volleyed it in the corner. I watched it with my own eyes. I'd had about fucking 4 Trundle mind at that point. I couldn't make out which one I was supposed to be looking at, like. But you're there, like, and you can see it going in. And actually, what reminded me of it yesterday was I was looking, like, on YouTube. I'd see if it's any Owain Tudur-Jones goals on YouTube. And there's not that many. So
I know that.
and I go and I think about it. Well, do you know why? Because at that time, it's not this time that we live in now, where every goal is like recorded and every team and everything.
Yeah.
You look back, you can't find. There's only one thing on YouTube of Trundle's goal. One of the fucking greatest goals you'll see in the Millennium Stadium, and it's a grainy, like someone's, you know, videoed their TV with their phone, right? So how are you supposed to find League One and League Two goals from a Swans? From
of course,
you won't find them really unless they were on Soccer AM and things like that, like, you know. So, you know, it's you know, that was a great time, and like I say, I think at the time I was as bad as anyone. I'd had a sort of bit of a tipful of the sort of the way Jacket was playing. It sort of went stale that second season, but then the gambles after that, you know, Martinez, they worked. Even Sousa, who I was not a fan of at all, he set up that defence then, so that's where he improved. That was his part of the Swansea way, like, do you know what I mean?
The thing with Sousa, people forget, I think he gets a little bit underrated because that Trundle goal don't get disallowed. We in the playoffs under Sousa then. You in the playoffs. Who the fuck knows what happens then? You know what I mean? So that could have gone either way. We could have gone up a year early if that goal hadn't been disallowed. You know what I mean? I think we'd rather go up the way we did with Rodgers, like, because then Rodgers put his philosophy on it. You know, again, he'd go on about gambles. Sometimes it just works.
I remember
Hugh Jenkins couldn't put a foot wrong. Unfortunately, you know, you can't do fuck all right. You know, but I remember then where we were like loud drop and. There's big flags all over the stadium and who we trust, you know what I mean? Swansea Lona and all that nonsense, like, you know. It's just...
But it's a fickle game, isn't it? You know what I mean? And you're only as good as, you know, your last decision, and his number of last decisions are seemingly poor, like, so... Martinez,
your best manager, what do you say?
Yeah, I've got a couple for different reasons, really. Roberto, for what he did, amazing. Paul Lambert and Norwich never used to pick me, but he was brilliant. Like, witnessing what he did in that dressing room, amazing. in a completely different way, just like a motivation kind of way. A little bit of fear to start with, but got the players.
But one with him, when he went to Norwich, was it not Lambert's side? Like, he was Lambert's manager, Colchester, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And they were the ones that fucking battered on the first game.
Well, we'd had a good pre-season, so...
Was that in first season?
That was my first game.
No way, really?
So Brian Gunn signed me.
Brian Gunn was a fucking Norwich fucking legend, man. Bayern Munich fucking in the 80s, like, you know what I mean? That game. That's proper fucking...
Jeremy Goss on the
ball. Fuck me. Big. That was a Norwich were fucking big time. You know what I mean? Sports night. Fucking big time, you know.
And they'd just been relegated to League One. So they'd recruited a few of us that they thought could get them out of League One. We'd had a good pre-season. We drew 1-1 with a Man United 11, full house, Carrow Road. Beat Roberto's Wigan, who were Premier League at the time, 3-2 at Carrow Road, full house. Beat Crystal Palace away, so good, you know.
You started in all these games?
Yeah.
Really? Middle of the park, Man United?
Middle of the park, and then Colchester at home. You know, first game of the season. Maybe we were a little bit too cocky after those friendlies.
Because you think, fuck me, it's got to be our year, like.
So full house, Carrow Road, 26,000, brilliant fans. 5-0 down after about 30 minutes or something.
Fuck.
Or I think it was like 0-0 after 10, 15 minutes, and then we just got blitzed. You know, our keeper it was his debut and his only game for Norwich.
No way.
Shipped back to Australia.
They stuck fucking Brian Gunn in. 20 minutes. He's here carrying his Brian Munich pennant from the game, like.
So that was my debut. Lost 7-1 against Colchester, and then obviously Paul Lambert comes in as the manager, who, for obvious reasons, thought we were useless. You know, it was a soft club, actually, soft team that he had to come in and change. So I didn't play much for him. He had a different vision, and then he got them going, winning week in, week out. So you can't knock on his door. So I'd go out on loan and stuff, but he was excellent.
Really,
he was brilliant.
That takes more of a man who could easily come in here, and if you're saying he didn't pick you and didn't fancy you, which happens, isn't it? Some manager, sometimes it's not even you as a player. Sometimes you just won't fit into the system, I suppose. But for him to come on and say he was shit hot, I think that's more of a stand. That shows up how you are as a man. Like you're big enough that you can say no. He was.
So I got friends still now who text me when Stoke get relegated and this stuff. Good news for you. Hey, fuck Lambert and stuff. And I'm like, no, I like Lambert. I wanted them to stay up. But Roberto was brilliant. You know what he did. Come on, it was incredible. You know, honestly, I still don't know how he did it in terms of transforming to that way of playing. Being a part of it was incredible. You know, the sessions that he put on was amazing, and just got the boys technically so much better.
Do you improve as a player?
100%.
Never.
I came to Swansea as...
How the fuck can a man... How can like another person make you a better fucking footballer?
On top of that, if he's improving everyone, the players around you will improve you as well.
Well, yeah.
So,
yeah, true.
My downfall at Swansea, really, obviously injuries, but I look back and I think I came to Swansea as this raw lad from the League of Wales where, you know, I'd be up and down, box to box, win the ball, give it to someone better. By the time I'd left Swansea, I was a bit of a ball player, really.
Yeah.
I couldn't run, you know, because of my knee. My legs had gone, but I fucking kidded on to people and kept getting contracts for a good few years.
That's another thing I looked at. They give him 2 years. He's probably still getting paid by him.
So I was pulling the wool over people's eyes, but, you know, that was Roberto really changed that way of playing. And my downfall was that when Roberto first came in, I think I missed over a year maybe. So if you think, for example, centre midfield players at the time, Brits, Pratts, whoever else was there. Border had come in.
Fuck, are some names there, mate.
Jordi Gomez was there.
Fucking hell.
But if you think of it as a platform, and I would see myself, right, Brits and that at a certain level, I might be a step below them or whatever, you know, but we've all got different qualities. But I missed that first year where Roberto brought them on leaps and bounds, and you could see the improvement and the way that they were playing, and I was missing the training.
Why? Because of
injuries.
Did the injury happen one specific tackle, or you just fucking like Mr. Glass and Bruce Willis from Unbreakable?
A bit of both, really. I've always had the injuries. I mentioned season
Even with
2 and 3
Bangor.
with Bangor.
Yeah.
I had a couple. like problem with my knee, and then the third season with Bangor I fractured my metatarsal. I took a year off from like student university and stuff to concentrate on football. Fractured my metatarsal, out for 3 months. Came back too early at Bangor, no physio. First game back, fractured it again. Ugh. So the season gone. So
how depressing must that be, mate? As a fucking footballer,
it's tough, obviously. But the Roberto period, Kenny was the manager, and I'd had surgery. Then went to America for another surgery. Roberto, in the meantime, had come in, and then I probably missed the first 6 months. Coming back then, I remember it, last reserve game, so done all the training, got back to fitness, last reserve game, Yeovil away, me and Joey Allen in the middle of the park, and that was to be the last part of rehab, coming back. And I think we were playing Gillingham at home on the Friday night, and I would have been involved for the first time. Fractured my ankle in that reserve game going into a tackle.
Nice.
So that was another 3-4 months. By the time I'd come back, one, physically, I was done. But two, the boys have gone on to just another level, And
so
it's
do you feel like you've been left behind as well?
Yeah,
like,
100%.
How old are you? Because you couldn't have been that old, could you?
Swansea then, so I would have been 20, 23, 20, 24
It's fuck
maybe.
all, is it?
Hell.
Gaza didn't play for England in Italia 90 till he was 24.
Yeah.
And everyone still looks at him as a kid, isn't it?
And then we spoke earlier, the fans. I had a good relationship with the Swans fans. Singing my name after a couple of games and stuff. I remember Chris O'Leary coming up to me, the chant, Owain Tudur-Jones, and Chris turned to me and say, "Fucking hell, I've been here 10 fucking years and they haven't fucking sung mine." Right? But maybe it's the name that it just rolls off the tongue for a song. But by the end, the team had moved on to another level and left me behind, and I knew it, but I was still grafting my nuts off and good in the dressing room. But I could start to sense there's always a scapegoat in a team, even successful ones. Swansea getting promoted, Dennis Lawrence would be the one generally who the fans would be a bit nervy when he's on the ball, a bit fucking negative and not booing, but when he passed back or whatever, there's always
he would have
one.
more shit than Britain.
Yeah,
so there's always one for me.
Yeah, there's always one, and I just felt when I'd come on and stuff like that, I was starting to be that guy. So the relationship with fans was starting to turn. And I knew Roberto offered me to stay a contract, but I knew it was time to go.
But that's a massive, at the time, that's a big leap to knowledge, isn't it?
It was a bigger club at the
Yeah,
time.
of course
you know,
it would
was
be,
facilities and stuff like that. And Swansea were obviously in the Championship, Norwich League One. But I doubled my money by going to Norwich.
Really?
And again, that might be the perception of coming from the League of Wales. So you're always like a youth team player.
Yeah.
You're always on the lower scale. You're thinking, I'm playing. This guy's on maybe a lot more money.
Right.
So I had to leave in order to be seen maybe as a professional footballer properly.
Do you think so? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a young lad now breaks into a first team squad. He needs to leave really to get what he's should be paid.
Well, look how long it took Harry Kane to get up the money.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? He came in and no one expected anything from him.
Yeah.
And he was on like
You've had to work harder,
Yeah, he's had to work harder.
I've heard some of the numbers being floated around for the Cardiff boys for the bonus for going up.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus, Johnson.
Good.
Fantastic, yeah. The keeper, it goes by, you'll know more about the bonus system than me, right? But
Pro rata, yeah?
well, it goes by squad appearances, right? The keeper, second keeper, hasn't fucking played all he hasn't played all year, right? But he's in every fucking squad.
Right.
So, like,
he's getting the full
my
whack.
memory's fucking shit. It was only 2 days ago. I think you were looking at about 500,000, maybe.
Just for sitting
you
on the
probably
bench,
know more than you probably know more than maybe it's less than that. But we were talking tidy chunks of change.
Yeah.
So now, like, you go on about, like you said about the players trying, it's fucking bollocks. These Cardiff boys are putting a shift in because they know the fucking coin they get if they go up is fucking crazy. Tan was going to take them to Vegas, but instead they've gone to Ibiza for 4 days now. Something happened with the Vegas, and I can't remember. The plan was he was going to Vegas as a squad, but now they've gone to Ibiza instead. Like, all of a sudden, now Tan is great, isn't he? Yeah. Everyone loves Tan now, all of a sudden.
Well, do you know what? At Norwich, so I said I pretty much doubled my money going there, and it was in my signed a 3-year contract. This is probably why I enjoyed my time there.
Right.
But somehow my agent got it in that if we got promoted from League One to the Championship, my money would go up almost double again.
Oh, fuck, I love this.
And then it was in there, doesn't matter how many games I played, and then if we got promoted from the Championship to the Premier League, it would almost double again.
Right.
Without playing a fucking game.
Yeah.
So that period, like I would see myself at clubs, Bangor till I was 20, Swansea then till I was 24, thinking I'm getting paid less than I deserve really. So I balanced out with Norwich.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
They made it back for you, like.
I'm quite a chilled guy. I'm not huge. I supported Liverpool growing up, but as soon as I started playing, concentrate on my own team. Never really get too up, never get too down. By the time that second season at Norwich, where they were close to getting promoted to the Premier League, I was a fan.
It's having Norwich tattoos and everything.
You Calvados tattooed on his back.
I wasn't in the squad. I'd been on loan to Yeovil, I'd been on loan to Brentford, and I'd come back for that last 6 weeks or so. Training, you ask anyone, there's a few of us, big part of the dressing room, you know, to get the lads going, train well. That's why Paul Lambert likes me. There's a couple of lads, Michael Nelson, Matty Gill, still loves us to this day.
Really?
But I remember one game. Norwich played against Derby. This was the season Swansea got promoted in the playoffs. Norwich picked them to second place, and Derby came to Carrow Road against Norwich. Mid-table, nothing to play for. Cardiff could have got promoted as well, I think. Bellamy was there.
Yeah.
And apparently the rumours were he'd said to Savage, who was playing for Derby,
Of course he was, yeah.
if Derby beat Norwich, I'll give you $5,000 per man, right? Out of his
Who
own
said this?
pocket.
Bellamy?
Bellamy.
So whether it's
Yeah,
true or
no,
not, I
that's
don't know.
fine, yeah,
But that
yeah.
was the rumour. And Derby were fucking grafting their nuts on this game. I was watching.
You can't.
I was watching like in the Skybox, where Sky would normally film. There's loads of us not in the squad, and we're watching this game. Derby 1-0 up, fuming. You know, big game. 90th minute, Simeon Jackson. I think he scored 1-1,
Yeah.
going crazy. 93rd minute, I think Simeon scored again.
Yeah.
We won that game 2-1. I've never felt a buzz like
Really?
it in my life. Now, it was financially motivated because I knew my money was going to go up. We were going insane, like ceilings like this, getting punched. They were all coming down, causing absolute chaos. I've never felt like that before. You know, that must be what it's like for you boys as fans, you know.
That's class, isn't
That's
it?
great, though.
Yeah.
So it's financially motivated, you know, otherwise I probably wouldn't have felt quite like that.
Yeah.
But you're talking about the Cardiff players, bonuses. I don't mind the sub-keeper getting a big
Oh, fuck, no,
a
I
big
don't
bonus.
begrudge anyone.
Now, that
I
might
don't
be
begrudge
because,
any fucker.
because I've been that guy in the squad, not always playing. But as long as your attitude's good,
Yeah, of course.
you know, you can bring out an extra.
I think-
Now, a lad who is playing, like I'd take Ashley Williams as an example. Ash was so focused, you know, he knew he'd play week in, week out. He probably would feel different to me. He'd think, I've done more than this fucker on the bench.
Yeah.
And that's fair enough. Do you know what I mean? But it's a squad.
Well,
game.
who say as well, or in a club or in a team, who could bring as much, like you said, if your attitude is good training, then the manager's going to look at you and think, well, if he's putting it in, everyone else should be putting it in. But don't you think you could be as much a character in the dressing room, I suppose? If you were really well-loved character in the dressing room, you on the bench, you're not getting a lot of minutes, but if you're someone who bucks everyone up, good normal, maybe that could be fucking handy to have as well.
This is important.
You know what I mean?
You've got to have both. You know, otherwise you'd have.
Well, Peter Kay, you'd have fucking Peter Kay.
You'd be on the bench, wouldn't he? You know, so
Signing
you-
for Man City now.
Yeah, so you have to have both. Of course you do. But it's important to have guys because lads get left out. If you're going to sulk, remember one or two lads, Swans even, if they got left out of the squad on a Friday in the Kenny jacket, he'd name the team. And then the team would go with him to work on shape. The rest of the boys, the bomb squad, would go and play a little five-a-side. And boys would just be booting cones and that, furious and stuff like that.
Which sometimes you like because
it's
the
just-
attitude. Like
They stormed off the bench up in Aberystwyth. Playing for the Turks. Oh, I fucking.
But sometimes it's your own, you're being self-conscious. You think sometimes I have to act as if I'm disappointed.
Yeah,
it's your own
I see,
insecurity that, fucking hell, I've got to act as if I'm fuming here. Do you know what I mean? It's almost embarrassing
of course.
if you think you should be playing. But.
None of them will be as bad as my mate Morgie's when we was in the Saints thirds and we went down to play Mumbles.
Yeah.
And he took a grammar whiz before the game because he was out the night before and he thought they'd help him because he's right wing.
Yeah.
And he put him fucking sub. Honest God, broke his fucking arm.
Fidgety.
Mate, you should have seen him doing a warm up, mate. He was warming up for 70 minutes. He come on, he was fucking boiling. He nearly had a fucking stroke. He did, poor fucker. It was murder. So you want to add again? Fuck that. We put him full back. You shit. But anyway.
No, but when I was, I did find a good goal of yours.
Yeah.
Yeah? Can you think of the one?
Inverness?
It was a screamer. It was an
I
absolute
thought he scored a
screamer.
few.
Yeah, but what I mean is to find them online, like, you know what I mean? It was one of the first ones I come up, to be honest. And it is an absolute screamer. You couldn't have hit that much better, could you?
No, do you know what?
It kept going away as well, didn't it?
Yeah. It was bless the keeper for diving. You know,
It made it look even better.
Save your energy, mate. But that was. I went to Inverness and had a first season. Had the knee op, missed the whole season. My second year there was arguably my most enjoyable, where I played almost every game. Got sent off twice, back to back.
I was going to bring that up.
Which meant they were the only games I missed, I think, to the last game of the season maybe. So that was a good run of games at a small club up in Scotland that were punching above their weight.
Super carry go ballistic
It was nice to be a part of it, you know. And there was a couple of goals. That one a good goal against Hearts.
Was the Scottish League a bit of fun? Was it good? Good to be up there and experience, yeah? Because I love people saying about Gerrard, bad appointment, right? You telling me now we're not talking about Scottish football. We've gone from no interest in Scottish football to all of a sudden saying, well, I'll have a little fucking nose of this now. You know what I mean?
You can have a little dig Scottish football and have a perception that there's not much money up there, so
yeah, of course.
Really, the best players get plucked to the Championship, or Celtic now have moved on from getting foreign players from everywhere. To plucking the best players from the other clubs. It's a competitive standard, you know, but it just varies so wildly. 1 week you might be playing against Ross County in front of 2,000. The week after you're at Parkhead in front of 60,000. It's a weird league like that.
So you played Parkhead and Ibrox then, did you?
Yeah, well, do you know what? In that season I was talking with Inverness. Small club, you know. Our fans, 3,500. Doesn't matter what we did.
You're still playing in front of 3,000 people though.
Yeah.
You know, still professional football, like you
absolutely.
know.
Saints are happy if they get 30 on a line.
Oh fuck yeah.
But we finished third or fourth, which is massive for a club that size in the Scottish Premier League.
That's fucking unbelievable.
We had I think it was a 10-day period. We went to Parkhead and beat Celtic.
Fucking hell. Who the fuck was playing for them at that time? Henrik Larsson?
No. He's not that old for
Cheeky bastard.
You're lucky I thought he was playing against Willie Miller for Aberdeen.
No, but you remember the Celtic team that beat Barcelona, backs against the wall.
Fuck yeah. Rod Stewart is pissed as fuck in the box with that.
So Scott Brown, Wanyama, Fraser Forster in goals.
Scott Brown was playing back then, was he?
Who was the boy who scored the goal, Sam? The young boy who played up front.
Tony Watt scored the winner.
That guy.
You had Samaras, those guys. So we went there.
Should have been marking Scott Brown.
Scott Brown and Wanyama.
Good player.
Had some good battles.
Wanyama as well.
Good battles. Wanyama is the strongest player I've come up against.
Really?
Oh my God, but good battles. You know, my long legs could get me out of trouble a lot.
Of course, yeah.
If I had a bad touch, which happened, my long legs would get me out of trouble.
Yeah.
So
second
a couple of times,
tackle.
I'd have a heavy touch, and then big Victor's come in, and I'm stretching to get my leg around him, but it's like bumping into a brick wall.
Really?
But good battle. Scott Brown is a better player than people give credit.
Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah,
he's got this opinion of him. He's just a
twat.
kicker.
He's a twat. He's a good footballer. He's a good footballer.
That video against Aberdeen when he does the strut, innit?
You'd love him playing for your team.
Exactly,
You'd love
but when
him
he's against you, like, he's a total nonsense.
You'd love him in the Swansea team now.
Oh, what?
You would. So we beat Celtic 1-0. We then went to Pittodrie and beat Aberdeen to go top of the league. It's like November time. And then we played Rangers in the Cup at Ibrox and beat them 3-0.
Fuck it.
So like 10
top of the fucking league.
Parkhead, Ibrox and Pittodrie.
Because anyone who don't know the Aberdeen to me, see, maybe some people listening. Aberdeen, like I was brought up on 80s football, so I'm fucking Dundee United getting to the final against Gothenburg. Aberdeen fucking beating Real Madrid in the cup final, like having fucking Willie Miller and fucking Alex McLeish at the back, fucking good sides. So when you say Pittodrie and Aberdeen, anyone listening thinks, oh fucking hell, only Aberdeen. No, Aberdeen. I got fucking, they were big fucking big club at one time.
And Celtic and Rangers, people know they're big clubs, of course, but until you've been there and you experience it, you do not realise the size.
I bet, yeah.
You were talking
giants. Outstanding.
Ibrox is like a museum.
Right.
You know, I just see both clubs almost as institutions. They're bigger
Totally
than a football
agree.
club. You know, you're talking if they were down south, they'd be a threat.
Yeah.
You know, after a couple of years and a
Yeah.
bit of money and stuff. So
Well, one of you were ex-managers is a fucking range. Like Teddy Butcher is fucking on the walls in fucking Rangers.
not anymore, I don't think.
No.
Not anymore.
What did he do to upset them?
Just, I think Terry, the gaffer, is one of those characters who played for Rangers legend, but as soon as he leaves, he loves the club he's at.
Right.
So he didn't, it's not as if he'd go to Rangers and be like taking the claps. He'd be
Yeah.
like, fuck him.
Oh, that's good, isn't it?
That's proper
That's
old
good.
school,
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
So that was.
It's
that
the
was his
fucking
way.
no celebrating.
Yeah, I
You know,
don't
players
like it,
go and fucking put
Yeah.
their hands down with their back. Fuck off.
It's just people want to be liked by everyone. It's like, come on, mate, you know, just celebrate a goal. But yeah,
It didn't quite work out for him as a manager, did it?
No.
Butcher, like.
Hibs was the last one. At Inverness, you know, he'd found a club that he could work the squad. He had control of players and stuff like that. But he loved me.
Really?
Loved me. Like it was a bit embarrassing at times.
But-
Owain Tudur-Butcher. I would never encourage stuff like that. So that first season when I was injured, had a knee op, and I'd been in the dressing room. So basically, I went there, played 3 games, and the third one against Rangers, my knee went, so I needed an op. And in those first 2-3 games, he saw something. You know, I was almost like a quarterback, zinging balls and stuff like that. Played well. So afterwards, I was out for 4 or 5 months. But if the team lost, he'd always say in a team meeting, you know, we could have done with Jonesy there.
Oh, no.
We could have done with Big Jonesy. What do you think here? I'm thinking, Gaffer, I wasn't even at the game. I don't know. He'd always refer back
They would
to me.
spearmint right now in Glasgow at the time, didn't he? With his fucking foot up in a cast, like, you know what I mean?
So he loved me and he played me, so I liked that about him, but he was part of the reason why I wanted to leave Inverness. Wanted another basher, a bigger club, so Hibs. The gaffer he'd go crazy, you know, old school crazy, punching walls, punching holes in walls,
Right.
stuff like that. I remember one, and you know, football just did something. What a lovely guy, but football did something to him where, you know, before the game it'd be very much, boys, I trust you with my life. And you think, you get beat, playing okay, and afterwards, you boys deserve to be fucking shot. Oh my God!
He walks in with a famous bandage around his head, didn't he? You know what I mean?
And
Letting people on the way in.
the door to the dressing room at Inverness was a fire door. So at one game he's had a go, he's hammered the boys and he's gone off in a strop, tried to slam the door, and all it's done is close. And it's took about 10 seconds to close. The lads wait for it to close and they start pissing themselves laughing. But he was part of the reason that, you know, I wanted to move on, went to Hibs.
Because, like you say, people of a certain generation or more, they won't see Hibs as a big club, but Edinburgh's a massive city,
yeah.
and Hibs are a big club.
Big club.
Big club.
How is
You know
that then? You know, this is fucking over 100 years, isn't it?
Yeah.
But how the fuck did Glasgow end up having those 2 clubs? Massive.
Yeah.
And the actual capital then,
Strange, isn't it?
you know, maybe they should have played at fucking Castle, you know, fucking, like, Cosy, but...
Edinburgh, I've been to Edinburgh, right? And it was a city that I went to and I went, fucking hell. This
Really?
place is
I've never
fucking
been there.
massive. I went there for the rugby, right, in like 2007 or some shit like that. And we actually stayed in Livingston.
Yeah.
So Livingston's football ground was literally like round the corner from where we were. So I was like, whose grounds are that's Livingston? Well, Livingston's in Edinburgh. Oh yeah. So like Livingston's like Gosainen, say. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So part of Swansea, but
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But just imagine on a bigger scale. And when you go into Edinburgh city centre itself, everything seems massive. Like
Really?
the castles up on hill, just the buildings, the architecture,
Yeah.
it's all old style stuff. I just was dwarfed by it. We went to Murrayfield. We actually didn't actually go into the game because you don't do things like that.
No, fuck that. We
Wasting
actually
time,
class.
isn't it?
There's a
Feel like
fucking-
he would have done in the end.
yeah, so there was this club called the something bowling club. It's literally on one side of the road, and Murrayfield is on the other side of the road, right? So I went up to my father's mates.
That's more Hearts territory, so I'd stay
Right,
clear.
all right, you had to keep clear.
Of course, they got 2 sides.
So they got tickets. You had it's all tickets. They'd all got us tickets. We went in and like walking alongside Murrayfield. I'm like, fuck, this place is massive. Like that was my one memory because I don't remember much about that weekend because it was a fucking long one. were 12 hours on the train. It snowed all the way up. I was fucking hammered by the time I got up there.
It snowed.
Was how big. I bet it did, yeah. was how big the place was. Like, it was just dwarfing.
So
you know?
in our one city, because I just got visions of Edinburgh now being this little fucking city with a castle on the hill. So you've got Hearts Stadium, you've got Hibs Stadium,
Livingston,
and you've got Murrayfield as well.
Well, you've got Murrayfield, and you've got Livingston then a little bit further out.
Well, I was thinking of Glasgow, they got fucking Hampden as well.
Yeah.
He loves the fucking ground in Scotland,
We went-
same as that Dundee, innit? They're right opposite each other.
Well, they're like so close, aren't they?
Isn't it?
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
fucking crazy,
We went
innit?
to,
Look at that's old school character, like the Newcastle, St James's Park is there in the city centre.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They proper old school fucking classic grounds.
We had a
like.
3-dayer up there. We went up travelled up on a Friday. We came back on a Monday, right? So I was imagining how long it was. I was off work for a week afterwards. And on the Sunday, Celtic were playing Hearts, I think it was.
Yeah.
And we went in and we went round. Is it the big market that place is called? What's that place called in
That's
Edinburgh?
Newcastle.
Haymarket.
Haymarket, right? I knew something like that. And there's a pub there called The Field, I think it's called.
Right.
It's Hibs pub. It's
Right.
one of Hibs pubs. So you go in there, it's proper green and white. Like, you know, it's like being in the Celtic pub, obviously, because that's the cathedral in Edinburgh. And we watched the football in there in the afternoon. And it was full of Hibs boys, everything was a great laugh. Like,
Did you like it, Hibs?
No, didn't
Really?
Like it. So we got,
No.
said we got relegated, but it was just a bad time to be there. One, I was done. You know,
Really?
I
What
was,
did you tell,
I,
like?
I was shot and I knew it. Probably my lowest point in football was signing for Hibs, brilliant.
Yeah.
And I was looking for a place to live. So I had to find a temporary flat before moving into this house I was going to rent and stuff. And for some reason, I thought I'd seen it on the internet that I was renting this house on, I can't remember the name of the street. Turns out I was in this other flat with a very similar named street.
Right.
I thought they stitched me up anyway. I was in this shithole.
Oh,
In
no.
a good spot on the Royal Mile, but a shithole of an apartment, no problem. Went training day one and did the lightest session imaginable. Just get the lads going, get ticked over, first day of pre-season, bit of head tennis and a little jog. And my knee was fucked. And I knew I'm in trouble here. Like,
And this is as you signed.
signed for a new club.
and a big club as well. Like.
So I've gone back to that flat by myself and I'm on this foam roller which I lived on for the last few years, trying to get myself right for the next day, and it was a real low point really. So I was done physically, really, but tried to keep going, and Hibs were done at the time as a team. So the reason I signed, they'd had a couple of bad years, bottom six, underachieving, and I thought if I can be part of the squad that gets them back up, brilliant.
Yeah.
But I wasn't. We ended up being the worst of the lot.
Really?
Get relegated end of that season, and the fans, I didn't quite realise. I thought they were like this nice family type club.
That's, yeah,
It's
go
quite
on.
heavy up there, I think. Isn't it?
Yeah, and then when
Really?
I got there,
Yeah.
the press guy, Cockney guy, Andrew Slight, he goes, great club, looking forward to having you here. These fans, they remind me of the Millwall fans. I'm thinking, what? But then you slowly realise that the majority of their fans come from Leith, a part of Edinburgh. So you've got the Hearts fans come from Gorgie,
Right.
and then the Hibs fans Leith, and it's a poor area, financially. So just raw people who the club means so much to them.
Right.
They love the club. They want that effort and stuff, and the team just didn't give them that. So with that in mind, I didn't like the fans. They didn't like me as part of this squad, So not a great period, but brilliant to play for a club that size. But we had some low points. We lost a derby. The day Pat Fenton lost his job.
Pat
in the cup.
Fenton, did he used to manage Shelburne and all
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Fat
that's right.
Pat, wasn't he? Lump of a guy, wasn't he?
Well, a small guy.
He was managing Ireland,
Yeah,
wasn't he?
he still is, I
Yeah,
think.
he
Still is.
managed
But we got
Jamie
beat.
Harris when he was up there.
We got beat by Hearts, and at Easter Road, he actually resigned the day after. But the police told us we can't get out. We were stuck in the stadium. Our own fans were
Really?
in the car park, putting glass bottles under our tyres and stuff.
Oh, Jesus.
They were mental.
Really?
I didn't play that game actually. I was on the bench, so I had my mate down. I said, "Come on, mate, who cares, man? Let's get out there." I didn't play, so I walk out, and these fans are shouting abuse and stuff. And then one of them's gone, in a Scottish accent, "It's all right. It's Tudur-Jones. He didn't play." And then another guy shouts, "Fuck him. He's shite as well." Fuck off back to Inverness. I'm like, oh God, oh my word.
Well, but it must be like, is it weird, like, all these times, like you said, he'd go to America, would do the knee, and he'd move to all these clubs, at the time he was a single lad, like, is it?
No.
No?
Been with the same missus throughout.
Oh, right, so one, like, he was going to these cities on his own, fucking...
To start with,
What do you think? At least he was on a nest every weekend.
There's no Tinder then.
Yeah. Oh, we're not talking about Tinder. Some fucker, I said I hated Tinder the other week, and some twat set a profile up for me.
Has he?
Honest to God, I'm fucking tapping. I'm only tapping because I've only had 2 follows. I think.
Yeah, I was gonna
Fucking
say,
living, mate.
is that your excuse to
My
your
missus
missus?
nearly fucking finished the other day. Fucking, I had to ask her, why the fuck are you on Tinder then, you fucker? Nah, we won't go into that. But, yeah, fucking, I just thought it must be weird, not going to all these cities on your own. And fucking, sometimes it must be quite lonely. Like you said, going to America, I was with that Stedman when he's a fucking, he's world renowned, isn't he?
Yeah.
But he was in America, on who fucking Todd. It must be like, I don't know, is it boring or lonely or?
It's the same with this job that I do now. I like my own company. I've always been of a mindset, if I don't like my own company, no other fucker will.
Right, yeah.
So I got no problem spending time by myself. It's fine. Part of the job. So going to America, went with Richie Evans, who's the physio at the time.
Yeah.
Right.
Went over Christmas 2006. So I spent a couple of weeks there. Evo was there for 2-3 days, and then he went buggered off. So I was stuck there. I don't mind it, really. Do you know what I mean? I just, it's something, as long as I got a couple of books or DVDs to watch, I'm good to go.
Yeah.
What is your role at the minute? Is this predominantly S4C, BBC Wales? What do you like? How do you get into that? Because speaking Welsh must have been the fucking...
Of course.
My
I'm
God,
so lucky.
how must you look back and think, as much as we are saying this fuck all to do in Bangor, if you didn't have the Welsh, would you be doing this now? Possibly not. It may be, it might be fucking brilliant. Any language, but the Welsh certainly helps, doesn't it?
Of course.
Are they on Scordio now as well?
Yeah.
Growing up,
Scordio was
Scordio
a big thing,
was fucking massive.
Yeah.
Way before fucking that Richardson with the fucking Golats or before that it was only Scordio, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking Monday night you're watching Bwtagweni on fucking Udalat in Welsh language, which was random as fuck.
Yeah.
Soon as Will Quack Quack and fucking Pobl y Cwm finished, it was on Scordio, innit? How fucking random was that in the 80s, like, you know?
Yeah.
So you've got a good gig, like, Scordio, it's a massive gig.
It's good. I definitely had one eye on it before retiring.
Really? You could see it, like...
Well, I guess it helped that I was never... It wasn't as if I played every game for 10 seasons and then this one injury broke me and I was done. And then you're thinking, what am I going to do?
You're already sort of...
I had a bit of time, really, so even before retiring, when I thought the end was near...
Still didn't stop you taking all these fucking signing on fees.
You're not wrong. I was getting paid up.
He comes across this lovely guy and he fucking got out. You nearly bankrupted him, so cut.
It's like you're doing a crowd there from outside Ibs when he's walking out with his bag of money, like
bag of money in his crutch.
It's all about the bottom line, boys. But I had one eye on it, so I'd speak to the right people, whether it's BBC, S4C, and say, listen, I think I'm going to be retiring soon. My knee had gone for the last time, but I wasn't officially retired. But the Welsh language has been massive because I didn't have the career that meant you could step into English punditry. No way. Because
of course not.
I'd back myself to talk as well as any of them. But
profile,
you need a name,
you
need a name, yeah.
You know, it's that balance again.
It's been given a chance, isn't it? You know what I mean?
So I've got to go a little different route. I want to go into presenting. I can't make a long-term living being a Welsh pundit.
Of course, yeah.
Impossible. So I'm trying to go down a different route, a bit of presenting
What do you mean?
stuff.
What, you don't think you could just do what you're doing now?
No, not long.
Really?
I imagine you've already seen the finances of Welsh punditry.
Yeah.
Well, I thought
It's not
straight away you think TV. See, this is my missus.
Not at all.
If we want TV, my missus thinks you're a fucking millionaire.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? She thinks the lizard or David Attenborough, the one that got chased by the snake. She thinks he's fucking on 3 million a year, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but do you know what? Everyone talks about missing out. S4C, was it the 80s, 90s maybe? Paying a lot of money for different things.
Really?
Everyone's cutting back now.
Of course they are, yeah.
So it's two things. Financially, I've got to move. I'm always looking, thinking, what's the next thing I could do?
Yeah.
Because of progression, because I'll get bored of just how it's great to go to a Swansea game or a Cardiff game, whatever, following the Welsh national team, doing punditry, doing Scorrio for TV. But if I keep doing what I'm doing, I will be bored and I will not enjoy. It doesn't matter how many podcasts I've got to listen to.
Yeah,
that
the
journey.
next 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
So he's looking for the next, really. punditry at the moment, bit of presenting, but I'm hoping to get more.
Yeah. I think you do well.
Yeah.
You're doing as well as you can at the minute, don't you? You know what I mean? I think I think it's an achievement to do what you've.
Sometimes you got to see the bigger picture as well. Things don't just get given to you short term.
Of course, yeah.
So the podcast, for example, you guys know there's not huge money to be made. I
Oh
think
no,
there is.
we're operating on a loss.
I'm
proud of it.
I think there is money to be made from podcasting. You need the following. You need as many downloads as possible to take to a small company to start and say, listen guys, I get 10,000 downloads per episode or whatever it may be. Give me a bit of money. It's possible if you get the following. But the reason I'm doing it is just to improve my skills, talking to people and listening to people. My example, after I retired, I was asked by the BBC to go to Liverpool to interview Joe Allen. Joe's one of my closest friends.
Really?
I chat to him all the time. But for this one interview, I was nervous.
Yeah.
So I'm writing down these questions on A4 pieces of paper, 4 or 5 questions, the longest questions ever. And I'm trying to memorise them word for word, right?
All this is with your mate, like.
Yeah.
With my mate. So I've gone there in the Liverpool training ground. I have to have the pad of paper on the floor next to me so I can refer back to it and stuff like that. You're talking about 2-3 minute interview. And if you would have asked me 2 minutes after, what did Joe say in his answers? I haven't got a clue. I wouldn't have known. Didn't listen to a word he said. I was so focused
concentrating on
what I needed to say next.
Yeah.
So the second question, he may have already answered it, but I've missed it, or I've missed a gem that he said that I can jump on. So the podcast, I think, I go in unscripted, so you have to listen, and in order, long-term goal for a presenting gig that I'm ready.
Yeah.
Like the equivalent of Soccer Sunday, remember?
Yeah.
There was a guy called Johnny Owen, big Cardiff fan, who we talked about him
Not
quite
Forest,
a lot.
not Forest fan, is he?
No.
No?
We talked about this a couple of weeks ago.
He's
He's a massive Cardiff fan.
Okay.
Huge Cardiff fan, big Cardiff boy. But he's now with Vicky McClure, the actress. Was in
she's
This Is
Forest.
England. She lives in Nottingham. So you've gone to Nottingham. He was well in with the Cardiff hooligans, like. And I don't think he was a hooligan himself. He's definitely casual, like loves his clothes, loves his music, loves his films. But then he'd gone to Forest, and he'd gone for a couple of pints, and he'd ended up with all the big Forest hooligans.
Okay.
Well, all of a sudden then, he makes this documentary about Forest called I Believe in Miracles. You've probably seen it. He produced that.
I haven't seen it yet.
Brilliant, really worth a look. Like, and then now the club have got him in as like a little sort of role in the club, like, you know what I mean? So he have got a lot of he is involved with Forest in a little way. He's a Cardiff fan, like, but you know what I mean?
I can't see the Swans pulling us in anytime soon.
No.
They pretty much just banned us.
He used to all Soccer Sunday or something like that. Now would have been perfect for you. But the two clubs, and now football's on. Every game's on Sky. So it's
Exactly.
Times are changing as regards that, and as regards media, like you say, with the podcasting, it's much more relaxed. I'd rather do this with you. Like, I gotta write things down because my memory's fucking terrible.
Yeah,
right?
you want to
but
take things off. You don't want to miss anything.
Yeah. So I don't like. We never write questions. We never. A lot of times we've sat here and we hadn't even referred to the notes.
Yeah.
And I've always found that those have been the best ones because they're more natural.
Yeah.
It's more like you're just chatting away, just 3 mates sitting around having a conflab, like and we're learning all the time. We're trying to learn the same as yourself. Because. We never did anything really. He's a postman, I'm a taxi driver. Like, you know what I mean? This is our first shot at anything.
But you're used to talking shit to people then?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. You know what I mean? That's what I do for a living. Like, and I always said that, I can't sing, I can't dance, I can't play the guitar, but I can talk shit. Like, so.
I can sing, I can dance, I can play the piano, but you know what I mean, I'm more talented than him, obviously.
But what do you do? So with your knee injuries, like, because I'm looking at you now and you still look like fit and athletic, like you could go and have a kick round, but your knee like stops you. You couldn't even go and have a friendly game or like a charity match or anything like that.
I'm down to playing the charity match in Carmarthen end of the month.
Oh, the one. Yeah. I follow them on Twitter.
I played a charity game 2 weeks ago, which was my first game in 3 years. The last time before that, I played a five-a-side game with. BBC Christmas party 5-a-side before going out.
Steve McFadden, Barbara Windsor, before she had Alzheimer's. I can't remember his name now.
And my knee just blew up bad.
Fuck, it's not worth it, is it?
So I thought, I can't do it. No problem. You know, it doesn't get me too down. I try not to think about it too much, really. And again, I've had time to prepare. I fell out of love of football towards the end because it was such a grind for me to get ready for training, never mind games. I'd have to go in like an hour before anyone else to tape both my ankles up, get on the foam roller to massage, self-massage, loads of different things like that, do different exercises. I'd be watching TV at home on my foam roller at night, all prep for the next day and stuff. So by the end, it was almost a relief that I could announce I'm retiring and move on. But you know, I still feel if I'm playing a charity game and stuff, there's a bit of quality left there, boys. You know?
Like, get that contract up for the Saints. You're going to be playing next Saturday.
I can't run. You know.
Or neither can any other fucker play for the Saints.
Yeah,
Don't worry about that.
If I get turned, I'm in big trouble if I'm playing centre half. But I still enjoy if I have a kick about someone, I'm pinging balls. It just comes back.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah.
I was part of the Wales C coaching staff. I was an assistant manager for like a Wales semi-professional team.
All right, yeah.
A couple of months ago, played against England. And Mark Jones, the manager, former Port
Used
Talbot.
to Port Talbot, yeah.
And the numbers, we were odd numbers, so I'd join in the games. So Welsh Premier League is decent standard,
yeah.
And I'd be playing centre half, just loving it.
Yeah, but don't forget, the difference is they're Welshie and you've had a Welsh cap. So you know what I mean? It's like you've had a full.
But I've been where they were. That's how I got to Swansea.
Spot on,
You know, but I'd fit in centre half. I just loved it. I'm dropping the shoulder and telling these boys, don't let your confidence get knocked too
like
much.
Glenn Hoddle in '98 when he was taking free kicks with Beckham. That's what he was like.
Me and the boys used to say when we were watching you when you were playing regularly for the Swans, we used to say we could see you ending up at centre half. That's what we saw. You know, obviously you were playing centre midfield at that time, but I was looking at you with your stature, with your size, and your ability to play on the ball. That I thought that would be maybe a natural progression would be to drop off to sort of lead from the centre, because especially these days when centre halves aren't, you know, more football in centre halves.
Do you know could have been our answer to Mateus. Like.
Do you know what? It's probably one of my only regrets. I don't regret much in life or my career, but when I came back from those injuries, Roberto was a bullshitter. You know, that was his one flaw in my opinion. It could work. But also he could go too far and he'd talk a bit of crap or something. Yeah. You know, he once said, I went to a meeting with him where, you know, you work yourself up to talk to a manager. I do anyway. I'd have a little practice walking the dog, what I'm going to say and this and that. You practice the conversation and then you'd go into Roberto, ready to say what you wanted to say. Why am I not playing gaffer? And then before you know it, he's bamboozled you. You know, you walk out of there feeling, what a player I am. Sit in the car and think, shit, he's got me again. And then one time I sat with him and then he just got into this thing and he's talking, he's going, Owen, you know, I watch Spanish football and Sergio Busquets and Yaya Toure at Barcelona at the time and you are better. And that was a step too far. Gaffer, I'm in the stand or on the bench for you. He's winning the World Cup and on 200 grand a week. You just lied to my face. But my one regret, coming back from the injuries, I remember him pulling me and saying about moving to centre half. And he's probably the one manager that would have really... I wouldn't have been a centre half for Terry Butcher.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
But for Roberto, and he probably went too far again. He said, I remind him of Laurent Blanc. Laurent Blanc started in centre field and dropped off and stuff. And at the time, I'd missed so much football, a year and a half. I wanted to come back and give myself a chance. I thought if I had to learn a new position, and you had Ash and Monks playing, could I shift in front of them? Probably not at the time. Would learning a new position mean 6 months again out of the team, out of the squad? So it was probably my decision. No, I don't think so, Gaffer, which was probably foolish at the time. You know?
Probably not your choice, really, is it? You know, it should be your choice to make, really. You saying, but
like I say, that's just what we saw from a stand. You know, that's the way we saw it. You know, we was like, Owain can play fucking centre half 100% because he can play football out the back. You know, because that was especially under Roberto. That's the way we were going. You know, Ashley Williams and Gary Monk could obviously both. But I think he would have been a better natural footballer than they were. Like, you know.
Yeah, I agree. You know, because although I never really had a long run playing centre half. I played a game here, a game there. I remember playing for Yeovil, against like Glen Murray for Brighton and stuff like that. But training at Norwich, so Fridays working on the team, playing against the rest of the boys, I'd always be centre half. So up against Grant Holt, Chris Martin.
Yeah, Grant Holt was always a pain in the
Yeah,
ass.
Grant Holt was our like.
You boys had a good
Yeah.
relationship with him, giving him stuff.
He was a right over kid.
But up against him every Friday, you know, and enjoying it really,
Yeah.
getting on the ball and just popping it past them and stuff like that. So in possession, no problem. Out of possession, probably not naturally. You know, centre halves.
Well, that
ball's
come
like
with
a
time,
magnet.
though, I suppose, wouldn't it?
Like what?
That would come with
Yeah,
time, though, wouldn't it?
You'd
The more
think
you
so.
play there, like.
I think there's a natural thing to the top centre halves. That ball is a magnet to them. You know, blocks.
Yeah.
Ash at his
Stepping across
best.
and-
Oh my God. But he had to learn it. You know, I remember John Toshak pulling Ash to one side in training, saying he needed to improve. So Ash had played left side centre half, improve on defending crosses coming in from the right. Yeah, so
Right,
he'd
yeah.
have to clear with his left
Yeah.
foot because Tosh would have
He
seen
used
games
to slice a lot
slicing
of
them and
them,
stuff.
didn't he?
I remember Tosh speaking to him, and after that, you know, I'd watch games, Swansea, Ash in particular for Wales, whatever, and thinking how good he was at defending those crosses coming in. You know, something that he worked
Yeah,
on.
of course,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
something that he had to
Yeah.
put the hours in. You know.
Yeah, it's just like there's you know, I'm sure if we spoke to Ashley Williams, he would say like Tosh made him a better player. You know, Roberto made him a better player. You know, he's been very lucky in his career. Like, had to work with guys like this that
Yeah.
turned him from when he came to us from Stockport. He was just a prospect, wasn't he? You know
Yeah, he
what I
was
mean?
raw.
And look at the career he's had now. I know he's not having such a great time of it at the moment. Like, you know, I know Everton fans. We had a couple of Everton fans on the other week. You know, and they're not such big fans of him now. Like, you know.
I think Ash physically, he's been put through so much. You know, you think of the run of games he went on. And
Body
how
on
many
the line,
games,
like,
body on
yeah.
the line, good and proper.
Yeah.
I think it's caught up with him.
Plus the Euros as well.
So
No
then-
one expect to score as far as we did.
Yeah.
It's like you had a full month then, whereas you thought we'd have 3 games are gone. You had like the full summer of football, like, you know.
And he needs to play. If he's plays 2, out for 1, he
lose
needs
it,
to
like,
play all the
Regular
time.
games, yeah.
But Ash was my roommate to start with Wales. I remember being on a flight home from Luxembourg. We both made our debuts, first caps. And like, he was at Stockport at the time. And like talking, I didn't know him at all, but we sat next to each other and just in conversation. He reminds me after, like, I must have asked him, you know, what's happening with you? And apparently he said, you know, I'm signing for you boys, I'm coming to you boys. And I probably just ignored him and put my headphones on. Didn't realise, and then he was my teammate and stuff. And then roommates for a couple of years. I'd have a year out of the squad. And then by the time I'd got recalled, like, wasn't expecting to get back in the squad, whenever it was, I'd be on the phone to, like, Ash, hey, guess who's back in the squad, big man, I'm back, you know? Are we rooming together again? No. I room by myself now.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
Okay,
fair
mate,
enough.
no
Like,
problem,
yeah.
no problem.
Company, right?
Yeah.
He's gone up in the world.
Yeah,
He fucked you
fair
up.
enough, fair enough.
Before we call it a day, he's got a couple of players I could ask you about, right? Because I think as a fan, and I think the people who listen to this, they want to know about these guys, right? Leon Knight,
Yeah.
what was he like?
Probably not my cup of tea. Again, in terms of the time that I knew him, the time I shared a dressing room with him, that Leon sort of character was so new to me. I'd never met anyone like him, really. You know, abrupt, arrogant. So I think if I would have met Leon 5-10 years after, I would have liked him better. At the time, you know,
Because
he
who
was
was
what he
most
was.
advised, maybe?
Absolutely. You know, he probably thought of me as this little gimp from North Wales. You know, whereas over time you get to know different people, and my character moulds differently, and, you know, I can just get on with anyone and understand everyone's journey now. But what a player.
Yeah.
You know, what a goal scorer.
Talent, innit? Look,
Very, very talented.
I can't wait for this book.
Yeah.
Might be in it. No, that'd be a fucking one. You're dropping shit, you don't give a fuck.
Well, I remember
Owain Tudur-Jones. I don't really remember him. He was just some gimp from North Wales.
he probably doesn't. I would have just been another player, but I remember, I don't know if you boys have ever heard the story where Bayo Akinfenwa wanted to rip his head off.
Oh, no.
I would have, see, because
I think
would have
he'd
thought
do
they would
better
have
Akinfenwa. He'd get stuck in his throat.
I think so.
joke on him, right?
Well, it was on a team bus after a game, and I think Knighty was just pestering Bayo for some reason. Bayo was on the phone with his missus, and Knighty was just relentless, wouldn't stop, and Bales turned around once and said, Knighty, stop, enough. Carries on with his phone call. Knighty just carries on. And next minute Bales just blew up. He's going for him. You've got Kevin Austin, Kevin Nugent and Willie Garay trying to hold Bale back. And Knighty's in the corner still giving abuse, as you would imagine. A little terrier just wouldn't let it go and winded Bale off more and more. But I just sunk in my seat and just pretended to be asleep.
Yeah, stuck your headphones back. And see, Akinfenwa won the Player of the Year, didn't he?
With Wickham,
the other day.
yeah,
Wickham.
right.
Like, see the photo, he's hugging his mate, like, fucking,
the manager.
See his fucking arms, man. Unbelievable. He's like Manfred Herbal, isn't he, from World's Strongest Man? All fairness, are we still doing it? Like,
I did a podcast on him recently.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I lost my phone in New York. Some Mexican fucking airline pilot that got it.
Yeah,
located in.
Hey, if you don't like the podcast, just
We're all friends, yeah?
Yeah.
No, I have actually listened to it. So
what a guy. But
really?
I would not have believed that he would have longevity in his career.
No way.
No way. The size of him, I knew when he was 22, 23. You would never say that Bale was the man who at 36 would still be playing and scoring goals. No way.
Fair play to him though, isn't it?
Yeah, he's a good guy.
Yeah, he seems like when like I said to you, because I've listened to all the podcasts, and especially the Swans ones with the Swans players, you can tell your mates, like, you can tell that he's a nice guy. Everything I've ever seen him on, mind, truth be told, he always comes across as a nice guy, like, do you know what I mean? And
even though he puts beast mode and he's got all those South London gangsters behind him, he still comes across as the image, like.
That's what he's I say on my podcast with him, he's created this brand.
Totally agree.
He caught it at the right time. He was the FIFA strongest player.
Spot on.
He built this beast mode brand. He's got a following social media of 1.5 million in total.
Really?
Proper celebrity. He gets invited to different events.
Yeah.
He was saying like Hazard and De Bruyne saw him and they'd be like, beast mode.
Class, fair dues.
The day after I was with him, he was flying out to LA to interview The Rock. So probably the biggest film star in the world at the moment.
Totally agree, like, yeah.
imagine them two in a room together.
Fuck,
not much wrong with that, is it?
Bale could be in the next Jumanji. Jumanji 2. Lost in Bangor. He could get him a walk-on part, though.
Yeah, it's true.
But what about old mate Truns? What was he like to be around as a player?
Truns was class, really. As a guy, just a good time. Exactly how people perceive him to be. Just so funny. One of the funniest guys you can share a dressing room with. He's quick, his wit. We'd always have a little play thing where Monks would wind Truns up jokingly as we're doing a warm-up, jogging around the pitch and that. And then Monks would say to Truns that I've called him this or that. And then Truns would approach me, head to my chest, because I'm bigger than him.
Yeah.
And he'd be saying, "What do you say, mate? What do you call me, mate?" And it was just this little sketch that we do almost every day.
Yeah.
A little pretend fight and stuff like that you remember. But he's exactly what, you've had him on the podcast, just a good guy, unbelievable ability, loves football, still playing now.
Yeah.
And just the one word I'd use with Trans, charisma. Oozes charisma to make people feel special, anyone he talks to, and still now he's probably as famous as any Swansea player that's playing that has been playing in the Premier League.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've walked Wine Street with him. What's Trans now? He's past his 40th.
41, 42, isn't he?
Hasn't played for a long time.
Yeah.
People approach him like he is a Premier League celebrity now. Mums and daughters, sons and fathers.
I had to lock my missus upstairs when trying to come to my house.
Good job. Good job. Yeah.
But in your career, was the promotion the highlight, or the LDV? I would say Swan's career was, because obviously you were in. I actually saw the one video of you is the Dancing King video.
Yeah.
Right in the changing room after the Gillingham game. And you're doing some sort of robot Peter Crouch thing.
Something what I was doing.
But as a career highlight for the Swans, was it that or was it the LDV?
The LDV was the first season, and everything was a little bit of a blur. I didn't really fully appreciate. It was all new. Everything was another game. I just didn't. There was no nerves, nothing like that. Going into the playoff final, taking a penalty in the playoff final, just no problem, So probably coming back from the injuries, being part of that squad that got promoted in the game against Gillingham, that was class. That was not just a good dressing room in terms of the lads, but players as well. To be part of that was special.
Oh yeah, that's Thank you for coming in and
Yeah,
and
fuck,
having
we
a
do
chat with us.
appreciate
Owen.
it. I mean that
we do
from-
appreciate
as much as we
it.
have
And we
a
know
laugh.
that you're driving back to North Wales now, aren't you?
I'm not now.
Oh, you're not, are you?
No, the Welsh Cup final last week meant Conisky won, so I'm working in Cardiff on Saturday. So I'm down for another. I got a day off tomorrow. I'm going to play a little bit of golf, take advantage of the trip down to see you boys.
Oh, excellent.
You staying in Swansea?
I'm going to do a podcast with little Leon now, and then I'm staying in. I think with Brits maybe.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Otherwise, I'll be in my car.
It's nice to have
Hey,
mates, isn't
what
it?
Brian's kitchen? We get the sleeping bag out
We can
there.
sleep in the back of my
hey,
van.
Denny's.
Yeah.
Yeah. Owen, thank you very much, mate.
Yeah,
Pleasure,
It's been an
boys.
absolute pleasure.
Nice one.
Top man. Thanks,
Cheers,
mate.
boys.
This is episode 31. Didn't introduce it again. I'm fucking hopeless. But there we are. Thank you, Owain Tudur-Jones. We are out here.
Ambition is critical.